Ryan Bader ran through the heavyweight Grand Prix and made history by knocking out Fedor Emelianenko. Now tonight, live and free on Paramount Network. Champ Ryan Bader will put his light heavyweight title on the line.
I'm the best I've ever been.
It's all over!
But coming for his gold, Fedor's protege.
This guy's a beast.
Vladimir Nemkov.
Good night.
Bellator MMA, live tonight at 10 on Paramount Network.
Our sensational Bellator Summer Series continues. Here in our home, away from home, our safe zone, the Mohegan Sun Arena. And for the first time since we have returned, we have a title on the line. Ryan Bader defending his belt at 205 pounds for the second time later tonight in our main event on Paramount Network against Vladimir Nemkov. Also on the card, the former longtime champion, the Jewel, Julia Bud, Jesse Mealy, Big Country Roy Nelson, John Salter. That all comes your way 10/9 Central tonight on Paramount Network. Moldavsky will be in the octagon, in action with his teammates. Fedor will be in the house. This will be an interesting night of fights, to say the least. And with the storyline of Fedor and Vadim Nemkov, one that we will get into throughout the night, Josh Thompson, Big John McCarthy, it's going to be a fun fight for the title later on Paramount Network. We start in the featherweight division, and you talk about a legacy, Lucas Brennan, the son, of course, of a very successful fighter in his own right, the West Side Strangler Chris Brennan and Will Smith.
When you're watching Lucas Brennan, you are watching a young prodigy on the ground. This guy can grapple with anybody. He is slick. He has great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu. That all comes from that lineage of being with his dad. Watch how he uses different types of chokes. Look at that. That is not your normal type of choke, but he has the ability to bring things onto the ground that other guys just don't even understand.
Our tail of the tape for this, our first fight of the night. 2-0 Lucas Brennan set to take on Will Smith, who is going to make his debut inside the Bellator cage.
Take a look, 20 years old. That is young, and 30 is still young too. Two young fighters, we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Michael C. Williams to get things underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome back to Mohegan Sun Arena as we get set now for Bellator 244 prelim seen around the world live on Bellator MMA's YouTube channel. We get the action underway now with 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner first. At 5'8", weighing in 143.7 pounds, his professional record, 3 wins, 1 loss, fighting out of New Haven, Connecticut, Will Sriracha Smith. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner, at 5'10", weighing in 145.8 pounds as a professional. 2 victories, no defeats, fighting out of Frisco, Texas, presenting Lucas Skywalker Brennan. In charge of the action, your referee, Brian Miner.
Brian Miner, our referee, for our first fight here inside the Mohegan Sun Arena. Young Lucas Brennan, 2-0. Will Smith, 3-1. Here we go. Tonight's fight clock brought to you by Geico. Brennan in the red gloves. Will Smith, Josh Thompson in the blue gloves.
Lucas Brennan is
So young, but so talented, just still so green. I'm excited to see how he's evolved in his stand-up, because Big John and I were talking earlier this week about that's the one area he needs a lot of work on. He's good at closing the distance on his takedowns, and he's good on the ground, but he's got to learn how to put the two things together.
Yeah, the one thing you're going to see Will Smith, Sriracha is going to do everything he can to keep this fight in the standing position.
Will Smith yet to be stopped in his professional career. Up from 135 for this fight, weighing in at 143.7.
Goldie, all the things that I said, though, about Lucas Brennan, though, the same things go for Will Smith on the feet, on the ground, though. He needs to evolve his grappling, right, John? We were talking about this also this week.
Yeah, we were. When you're watching, you'll see guys that they have that one element, that stand-up game that Will Smith actually brings. He's really smooth in the stand-up, came from a boxing background. But the ground, when it hits the ground, that's just not his area, and he will do things that we will advise against to try to get himself back to his feet. You've got to be smart when you hit the ground and how you get back up.
Three-time no-gi Masters world champion, 5th degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His father, Chris Brennan, 21 career wins, 19 by submission. And so far, young Lucas Skywalker has taken after Dad's lead.
That was a nice entry by Lucas. He gave that feint, shot in, changed that level, shot in on him. We'll see if he can get Will Smith to the ground from here.
His first opponent, Thomas Lopez, was 31, then Jacob Landon, 33. Now, 20-year-old Lucas Brennan faces 30-year-old Will Smith.
Nice takedown. He's able to get that body lock, squeeze the hips in close to his. That's what enabled him to get that takedown. Pulling his hips close, pulling Will Smith's hips close to him, so he's able to go ahead and thrust him down right to the side control.
And what this does for Lucas is now he's in his world where he knows I can't be hurt. There's no way that he can do anything to me down here. This is my world, so it's all a matter now setting up Will Smith to make the mistake that he can take advantage of.
But that was a nice little veteran move right there that Brennan did, is he pulled Will Smith away from the fence so he couldn't walk his feet up and try to potentially bridge him over to get to a top position or escape. He rushed him out right there, which got him back into the half guard position, but we've seen half guard is still a good position for him to be in.
You'll find so many fighters that half guard will be the position that they will choose over side control. It just depends on what their style is.
Catch up on past fights 24/7 on our new Pluto TV channel. Available now on your favorite devices. Look for us in the sports category. Bellator MMA on Pluto TV.
If Brennan was fighting somebody like a Lovato Jr., then I would say, okay, you don't want to be in this half guard position, because this is a position where he works to get up. But he's fighting Will Smith. Will Smith is really kind of content with being in this position, not taking damage. The offense that he mounts from the bottom, there's not really a whole lot of it. So Brennan can go ahead and start mounting his attacks.
Hold that wrist. He's going to try and use that underhook to rock up the dog fight.
And when you're looking at the arm, take a look at the left arm of Will Smith. That arm needs to capture that underhook position, and he's not even really thinking about it. Now he's on that overhook position on the arm. That's not going to get him up.
All the overhook does is actually hold you down in place. You have no offense from that position. You have no way to scramble and get back to your feet. All it does is really hold you in that position so you can't take damage.
Beautiful.
You still will take damage.
Beautiful split of the legs by Lucas Brennan. Notice how that foot is controlling the leg. You're seeing right now Will Smith is trying to control that right leg of Lucas, but he can move it up and through at any moment.
Both of Lucas's wins, both professional wins, have been inside the Bellator cage, and they have both been by a first round submission. 40 seconds remaining on the clock here in the first 5 minutes.
So I like to call this position a three-quarter mount position. You see how Lucas Brennan's right knee is on the canvas, but Will Smith has the foot. That guy called that the three-quarter mount, because now if Lucas, what he's going to do is roll him all the way over to try to take his back. He couldn't get him there because he lost the position on the grips. This is where he wants to be for the damage position.
The big difference with that is, at least by controlling that foot, you're making it to where Lucas now can't take that leg, bring it into your abdominal area, and start to crush and control your hip position.
Good shots as he has the arm trapped. Final seconds of round number 1.
Got a gift wrap.
What Lucas needs to do is tuck that left knee up underneath Smith's back. I call it like a knee pillow. Sit him up on the pillow and then roll him to the other side. He would be able to take the back from there.
It's no gift to the guy who's actually wrapped, though, is it?
No, it's definitely not. When someone's got you what we call the gift wrap, it is a bad feeling because only bad things are going to happen.
Once again, Bellator very proud to continue to partner with the dedicated professionals at Hartford Healthcare for all of our COVID-19 testing and screening. For more information, go to hartfordhealthcare.org. Mike Goldberg, Josh Thompson, Big John McCarthy, Jay Glazer, J.O.P. Son, and Jen Brown in the corner of Will Smith.
The boxing is working great. Maybe hit the inside leg kick when he's standing still, when he stops moving, okay?
First 5 minutes, Big John control, but not a lot of damage, right? So 10-9?
Absolutely. 10-9 round for Lucas Brennan. We'll see what happens in this next one.
Round two, come on, fight!
What did you think, John, of the advice that Nick Newell gave Will Smith between rounds?
Well, he's right as far as his boxing. What I see in Will, he needs to control that entry of Lucas. He needs to at least give Lucas the thought that, oh, I don't want to enter because there's danger. Be that by giving a knee feint, anything as far as uppercuts. You don't even have to throw it all the way, but you have to at least show him that I'm thinking of it.
And Lucas said that the kickboxing of Will Smith is by far Will's greatest strength. Wants to get it back down to the ground where he feels he has a definitive advantage, and I don't think there really is any argument about that.
My old man told me long ago, never fight another man's fight. And when Lucas is in the stand-up against Will Smith, that's Will Smith's fight.
But when he's on the stand-up, though, he's got to be a little bit more accurate, and he's also got to be a little bit more, he's got to change it up and mix it up. He's just trying to box right now, or he's just trying to kick. He's got to mix the two of them together.
You gotta let him go.
Anytime I would be fighting someone that is predominantly a grappler, I would like to throw things that go right up the middle. Push kicks to the body, push kicks to the face. Things like that make a big difference on them being able to set up their takedowns. Nobody wants to just shoot straight in and not be able to get it because something's going to come up the middle. Nice job on closing that distance, though, by Brennan.
Took a big chance in the way that he closed it, though.
Sure did, didn't he?
You've got to be careful. This is where when a guy is not comfortable in a position, you can see them pressing or having that to where they'll actually make what we would say is don't make that mistake. They'll make it to try to get the fight where they want it. But
John,
it worked for Lucas.
That's called being 20 years old. That's what that's called. Nice work, though, with the elbows. He's in that three-quarter mount position almost. He's got to drive that right knee all the way through to the mat.
Will Smith yet to be, sorry, Josh, yet to be stopped. Brennan's certainly working hard with the ground and pound.
But like John said, though, he's got that handcuff. So what that is he's got Will's arm across his neck. Something like your dad used to do to you when you were a kid, when he would tickle you. Like, it's kind of what Brennan's doing right now to Smith. He's pulling that arm across his neck and holding him in place, so he only has one way to turn, which is right into the damage.
Right, the way for, exactly what Josh was talking about, the way for Will Smith to get his arm free is he's got to roll through it, but that's going to expose his back, and that's exactly what Lucas is trying to set him into.
So what Lucas is doing here, he's got the handcuffs still. What he's going to do is he's going to try to go to the side choke position, but not really even to get the side choke position, try to take the back. Because Lucas on the back is dangerous. And we've seen that already in his first few fights.
Couple of rear naked chokes.
Beautiful neon belly.
Officially, forearm choke if you want to talk about it. I know John would rather see it publicly as the forearm choke.
Boy, that's a nice elbowing right here.
This is what we saw at the beginning, or pardon me, at the end of round one, too, guys. Gift wrap and some gifts being thrown at Will Smith.
A little bit of difference in the leg position, but this is what made Rickson Gracie who he was. He loved this position and would just gift wrap you and just pound you until you had to tap.
So the reason Lucas missed that position to get the back is he could have thrown his left hook inside when there was a gap in the rib area from Will Smith, but he wasn't able to get it in quite in time.
And what I'd like to see Lucas take his right foot and put his right foot in the hip junction, because it'll actually give room for Will Smith to turn his back, and that's what he's looking for.
Gotta get out of there, Will.
He's in trouble now.
When you hear the refs say you got to get out of there, Will, you've got to flurry more. That's the best thing. That's the best time. The ref's telling you, if you go harder, I'm going to stop this.
Well, of all of the shots, the best one Lucas threw was the body shot. And that started to open things up.
Will Smith keeps on allowing his arm to be taken and wrapped around it. Just a horrible position because you can try to block with the one hand.
It is all over. Lucas Brennan, the first to stop Will Smith, a second round TKO finish.
Four, second round.
Here's the takedown, driving into a double leg takedown. Gets his hands locked around that hip area, drops him down. And from that point, whenever you see a guy with his back flat to the ground, not a good position to be in. He's beautiful knee on belly, switches over, gets almost to the full mount. This gift wrap is it was the difference maker in the fight, Josh. He kept on getting that arm across. He landed big elbows, big shots. Nothing that Will Smith could do.
Well, Will could have given his back. Could have given his back, and that would have stopped the punching because then Lucas Brennan would have went for the choke. Instead, he could have tried to defend from there. But he was so paranoid about giving his back that he ended up taking more shots, and the ref jumped in for the stoppage.
Proud Papa giving his 20-year-old son a hug. Lucas Brennan now 3-0, all of his wins here in Bellator. To make it official, the voice, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, referee Brian Miner steps in, waves off the contest due to unanswered strikes. Officially 4 minutes, 14 seconds into round number 2. The winner by TKO, still undefeated, Lucas Skywalker Brennan.
So a good way to start things out if you are a member of the Brennan family. Lucas at 4:14 of the second as we welcome in our good friends Jay Glazer and JLP Sunday.
Thank you there, Goldie. Hey, JLP, tonight it feels like championship night, doesn't it? We're 4 hours away from the light heavyweight championship of the world, but it just has a different vibe in the building, even without the fans. It just feels different.
I fully agree with you. There is something special when 12 pounds of gold is up for grabs. They both want it. They both worked their whole lives, and somebody's leaving with it tonight.
Listen, Ryan Bader, he's our champ, but he's coming back down to 205. He is such a handful. Dare we say he's the best light heavyweight on the planet right now?
Oh, yeah, most certainly. I think that the main event and the world championship that he's bringing to the table proves that point. But I got to tell you, Jay, I'm not convinced that we have a close fight tonight. I think we have a compelling match. I know that we have a championship match. I think one of these two athletes runs away with it. And guess what? Here's the plot twist. I don't have a prediction who that is. I don't know what side I'm leading. I just can see both of these guys with very conflicting styles. If Bader comes out and he's aggressive, if he's throwing heavy hands his ways to set up his takedowns and gets on top, there's a chance that he goes right through Nemkov.
Well, he just did that to Fedor Emelianenko, and obviously Nemkov is his protege. Where does that come into play in this fight?
Oh, I think that it's huge. I think it's a piece of psychology, right? I mean, I think this is comes down to the motivation, not just tonight, but leading into this. The will to win is nothing without the will to prepare, and if you can be motivated in the preparation, I believe that Nemkov was, I believe that does help.
Okay, so we know Ryan Bader, what he brings to the table. You saw that lead hook. He has a great two. His takedowns, the ground and pound, fantastic. If Nemkov tonight is going to unseat the champion, and then maybe we call him the greatest light heavyweight on the planet right now, what does he need to do?
Leg kicks. And Jay, everybody you're going to see fight tonight is going to throw a kick to the leg at some point. It's different when Nemkov does it. It is a different level of power. I watched him stop a world champion just by kicking him in the leg.
But do you throw leg kicks at a wrestler?
Well, that's the problem. Okay, double-edged sword, right? You give a guy your leg like Ryan Bader, who's looking to run you down anyway. But yes, if Nemkov can set it up right, if he can hide it behind the jab, get Bader's eyes off it, yes, he can step outside and throw. He only needs to land a couple to change Bader. He can numb that leg and slow him down.
I'm proud to bring in the sixth member of our broadcast crew for more on tonight's action, the one and only Jem Brown.
Well, thanks, Jay. Hey, listen, you know, we talked to Vadim Nemkov this week about Ryan Bader knocking out his coach, Fedor Emelianenko. We asked him if he was looking to avenge that loss. He said for him, tonight it's not about revenge. He says, while it certainly would be nice, a little extra bonus, he says it's not a motivator to him. What he did say, though, was that what motivates him is obviously to bring that first ever light heavyweight belt to Russia, but not to just Russia. He wants to bring it back to his two little girls, Vera and Paulina. He said, there's a lot of sacrifice sacrifices that he and his teammates go through in terms of being away from their families and through all of the training. And he says that for him, the motivator tonight would be able to bring that belt home to his 2 little girls and show them with that hard work and those sacrifices that it's all worth it. Now tonight, Team Fedor has 3 fighters that will be stepping into the Bellator cage. And when you look at this statistics and this graphic, Goldie, I have to say, there's one thing we can take away is that Team Fedor does not like to lose.
Jen, thank you very much. In fact, neither does the last Emperor. 39 career wins, 30 career finishes. We are back with a member of Team Fedor, Vladimir Tokov, when the action continues right here from inside the Mohegan Sun Arena.
If you're a fight fan, you've got to love this. Get ready for back-to-back nights of Bellator MMA action.
Unbelievable.
First, on Friday, September 11th, Phil Davis and Lyoto Machida face off in an epic light heavyweight showdown.
It is over!
Then on Saturday, September 12th, Bellator's bantamweight world title is on the line when Juan the Spaniard Archuleta battles undefeated phenom Patchy Mix. Bellator MMA, live and free September 11th and 12th on Paramount Network.
Hey, Bellator Nation, follow us across a large array of digital platforms and stay up to date on everything you need to know. Like us on the Bellator Facebook page and see exclusive videos. Follow us and get instant updates on Twitter at Bellator MMA and get a chance to have your tweet live on Paramount Network. See amazing pictures on Instagram at Bellator MMA. Follow us on Snapchat at Bellator Nation for exclusive behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and fighter takeovers. Join Bellator Nation today.
Ryan Bader ran through the heavyweight Grand Prix and made history by knocking out Fedor Emelianenko. Next, live and free on Paramount Network. Champ Ryan Bader will put his light heavyweight title on the line.
I'm the best I've ever been.
And it's all over!
But coming for his gold, Fedor's protege.
This guy's a beast.
Vadim Nemkov.
Good night.
Bellator MMA, live next on Paramount Network.
That is our main event later tonight. One of his 2 belts is on the line. Ryan Bader taking on a member of Team Fedor. And there you see the great one, the last Emperor, his fighter, Vladimir Tokov, set to take on Team Alpha Males, Chris Gonzalez, his head coach, the veteran, Danny Castillo. Our tail of the tape for this lightweight fight. Look at this, 7-0, 4-0, a combined 11-0, and Tokov looking to get things started in style for his team.
Looking to get things started, but someone's O, as they say, has got to go.
I was leaving that for you, partner. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator 244 prelims continue now with 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. From Mohegan Sun Arena, we introduce first the blue corner. At 5'11", weighing in 156 pounds even, his professional record undefeated at 4-0. He fights out of Sacramento, California, by way of Chicago, Illinois, Chris Gonzalez. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 155.3 pounds. As a professional, he too stands undefeated, bringing 7 wins without a loss, fighting out of Stadionsko, Russia, introducing Vladimir Tokov. In charge, your referee, Brian Miner.
Brian Miner, once again, our referee. This fight at 155 pounds, 2 undefeated mixed martial artists set to meet inside the Bellator cage, Gonzalez and Tokov. Here we go. Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Geico. 7-0 Vladimir Tokov in the red gloves. Chris Gonzalez, 3-0 in the Bellator cage, 4-0 overall in the blue gloves.
You're not going to see a lot of fancy things from Tokov. You're going to see a very straight up and down stand-up fighter with someone against the fence. His wrestling pedigree is just unmatched, I think, really, in this. There you go right there. You just saw it. But when you get to the clinch, you're going to see different types of foot sweeps, different types of hip tosses, different types of body lock takedowns that you'll see in ensemble traditional wrestling.
Well, it needs to be pointed out that Volkov just took down a guy that was on the national team for Greco-Roman wrestling here in the United States. So you got an outstanding wrestler in Chris Gonzalez who is transferring over and becoming a complete mixed martial artist. He did a very good job of getting himself back to his feet there.
6-time Greco-Roman All-American, a member of that world team that John alluded to in 2016. Both men looking for their first victory by stoppage here inside the Bellator cage. Vladimir, 5 years younger than his brother Anatoly. They were on the same card at Bellator 229.
That was a nice shot landed by Chris Gonzalez there on the entry. Got a beautiful body lock. We'll see if he's able to finish this.
The tradition of Team Alpha Male continues. Danny Castillo is head coach. Chris Holdsworth, Uriah Faber, also amongst those who train and mentor Chris Gonzalez on a daily basis.
I can't even explain to you all the transitions that just happened right there. By the time I was about to say one that Gonzalez had switched to another transition. He picked the ankle, didn't get there, went to the back, couldn't get there, switched to the single leg. Now he's locked in on the single leg. It all happened within 5-6 seconds.
Volkov did a very good job of grabbing that Kimura grip to slow down what Chris was doing. That's what put a halt to him. We'll see if Chris can finish this takedown.
Tokov, a master of sport in combat sambo.
Beautiful work by Tokov. That was deep. You talk about a body lock from a Greco-Roman world team player, and he did not get him down. That was outstanding work by Tokov.
Gonzalez, a natural southpaw. Tokov in his normal orthodox stance.
Tokov's got to be careful, make sure you keep that right hand up, because Gonzalez like to throw that rear leg head kick quite a bit to make sure your right hand stays loyal.
One of the things that Gonzalez is giving up, though, Josh, take a look at the foot position. Watch how Tokov is consistently getting that foot to the outside.
Gonzalez also throws a little bit more of the wider punches that we just saw right there. Tokov keeps everything elbows tight to the ribs, and his punches come from his chin.
Vladimir's Bellator debut, his first fight outside of the homeland of Russia. He was at Winstar, Pechanga, and now here inside the Mohegan Sun Arena. 90 seconds remaining on the clock here, round number 1.
That was a nice right hand by Tokov that kind of stunned Gonzalez for a split second.
Right after,
no follow-up.
Right after that leg kick, and the one thing is you're not seeing Chris Gonzalez respond. He's starting to accept a lot, and the response is just not there, and he's got to start responding to these. He needs to make Tokov pay when he takes a chance of taking those shots.
We heard Danny Castillo tell him, he said, don't let him just kick you. He said, make sure you make him pay right after, at least check him. And that right there for Gonzalez, that shows that he's not really trying to land the hard punches, he's just trying to keep you at bay. That 1-2 combination he just threw, there was no intention of really hitting the target.
He actually, you can see when we talk about throwing shots, you've got to maintain that distance and understand that your feet have to move for you to come in and land those shots. And when you see a guy just throwing shots out, he's more giving a rangefinder saying, just stay out of my range.
Oh, caught him with that one.
But there was no follow-up. You got to follow up with some sort of kick or a knee or another cut, another punch to follow up with that.
Look for it again, Josh. That time Tokov ducks under.
Nice.
Very nice. Beautiful job. You see how he took that outside leg, brought it behind Gonzalez's leg, but Gonzalez switches it around. Good work.
Round 1 in the books.
John, we're going to see nothing but a stand-up fight. Neither one of these guys can take each other down. The transitions are absolutely amazing. I got to tell you, this is such a high-level fight. I'm so excited to see these guys wrestle. The exchanges are insane.
It's been outstanding. The big difference in this, so far in this fight, is here comes that straight shot. Look at that beautiful right hand straight down the pipe. You can see Gonzalez get a little shaken by it. Not that it hurt him, but it stunned him because he wasn't seeing it until it was too late. He got hit by it.
You're doing a great job with the
big difference is the shots that have landed. Even when Gonzalez went for that takedown, you saw the big elbows that were landing. Tokov is going to win this round on the judges' scorecard. He was landing the better strikes, but the grappling was fairly even.
I think Gonzalez just needs to be a little more confident in everything he does. If he does that, he's going to make this a lot closer fight.
Tokov's teammate, Vladimir Nemkov, trying to become the first Russian light heavyweight world champion in a major organization. Later tonight in our main event of the evening, the last emperor, the last man to fight, Ryan Bader. Round 2. Red gloves for Vladimir Tokov, 2-0 in Bellator, 7-0 overall. Blue gloves for the southpaw Chris Gonzalez, 3-0 in Bellator, 4-0 overall.
Now you're seeing it. With that ski, let him go.
Check that. The last fight for Bader was the Czech-Congo fight. The last victory for Bader was winning the heavyweight tournament.
It was a nice little exchange from both guys. Gonzalez landed a nice little left hook, and then Tokov landed a nice little right hand off the exchange.
Very nice knee inside by Tokov. It's those little shots that you don't see. Those are the ones that hurt you.
You're ready, dude. Right down the middle. On his mouth. Now fake.
Tokov, the aggressor here in the first minute plus of round 2.
Drop the deuce. Here we go.
Nice straight left.
Very nice and straight left. Well, he's got to stop winging the big shots. Know that the straight shot's going to get there faster.
When he wings that right, John, he changes his stance. He steps forward with that left leg and throws that right, making it a cross. Connected with it in round 1, just missed there a moment ago.
Well, Gonzalez, though, when he throws the straight punches, he's the faster fighter, so it gets there quicker. So he doesn't have to worry about Tokov countering right away because his punches have already landed. The problem is, though, is after he landed the straight punch, he goes right to the big overhand shot.
What beautiful defense by Tokov on that takedown attempt, though. He's got that whizzer on the outside. You saw Chris, he brought him up, and you see Tokov just utilizing incredible defense to keep it in a standing position.
Very nicely done here. He's got him splayed-out in this position here, but there's not a whole lot of damage. So he can tuck it behind his head. If he can get that leg, he can get Tokov's leg tucked behind his head, he can start using his elbows freed up to go ahead and elbow the head.
We're halfway, champ.
You can also switch it into what we call a banana split to try to stretch the groin area. That will work against some fighters. Other fighters are limber enough, it's not going to do anything.
Good job, your takedown.
I'm already on the way to the hospital.
Well, this is really what we call a spladle position where he's at. And it's great in wrestling, but in MMA, because of the fact that you're utilizing both hands to hold onto that one leg, it's tying you up. You want to be able to let go with at least one so you can start striking with the other.
That arm and that leg on that side trap now.
And realistically, we're kind of in a stalemate position here unless Gonzalez can start freeing up one of his arms to elbow and do some damage.
Elbow crazy right there.
But John, this is a position we don't normally see in MMA. I mean, as a ref, are we standing him up?
No, absolutely not, man. You have a fighter that has an advantage. Chris Gonzalez is in the advantageous position. Doesn't mean he's going to keep it. And there we go. You see Tokov coming up out of it. But he had the advantage. You got to let him play that out.
On the way up, Vladimir Tokov trying to score some points. 90 seconds on the clock here, round number 2.
Those little straight shots you were talking about, Josh. Nothing overextended, nothing that he's throwing too hard, but they're landing.
Economy of motion, clean boxing.
Watch the right hand.
Just as you can see see right now, if you're just watching both fighters, you're seeing a lot more energy being expended by Chris than you are by Tokov. Tokov is the more relaxed fighter, and he's not trying to throw everything with knockout power every time he's throwing it. So doesn't mean he's not tired, but Chris is the one that's expending the most energy.
There you go. Hey, keep stuffing that. Keep his head down.
Chris is having the most success when he throws the straight punches right down the pipe. And when he does land, he's got to throw something after that. We saw earlier, probably about 30 seconds ago, he threw a straight left, but didn't follow it up with anything.
Elbow with that left elbow right there, a little bit, his head. Keep him down. Keep your eyes on him and get ready to drop the deuce. Pass his foot.
Good idea to try to bring up the knee. It didn't hit, but at least it's the right thought process. If he's going to end up being able to get out, they can pay.
Tokov's got to be careful throwing that type of leg kick, though. He just steps straight in with his hands down and his chin right up in the air.
Let's go. Let's go, Chris. Yes.
There's what you need. Chris has got to respond. Don't just cover, respond. Nice right hand.
Good finish to round number 2 for the People's Champ.
Nice mouthpiece flying out, too.
Close round, John.
It was a close round, and you take a look at the difference of everything, it's going to be tough because the judges are going to have to look at that spladle position and how much are they actually going to give that for credit. Here's that shot, little cuffing shot at the end. You saw the mouthpiece flying out. Good motion. It's, you know, it's just the accuracy of what he hits him with. Almost what you want. Bring that hand over. It was more of the forearm hitting him, but still is enough to knock his mouthpiece out.
But that's what I was talking about, putting things together, though, John. He threw the knee, and then he came back over with the overhand right.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is our main event later tonight for the belt. And one of the newest members of the Bellator family, Corey Anderson, will be watching very closely. Who will he be dialed in on in the future as he makes his way towards the Bellator cage?
Let's go.
Member of the Renzo Gracie team, winner of 4 of his last 5 fights. Corey Anderson watching later tonight in the main event. Also a winner of the Ultimate Fighter, like our own Ryan Bader. And I can say our own Corey Anderson as well.
Yes, you can.
Round 3. Red gloves, Tokov. Blue gloves, Gonzalez. Good control in round 2 by Gonzalez and a good finish to that round.
Well, we might have an even fight going into the 3rd round here, and I honestly think that this is the round that's going to decide the fight.
Right there, just time it. That one. Same thing, or you can hook off.
It's hard to judge the 2nd round only because that banana split position or split position took up some time, but not a whole lot of damage was done. I know it was a dominating position, but nothing really happened from that position.
It's true, and you're looking for damage as the judge. Your #1 determination is the damage. The grappling was, you could look and say, well, that was a good grappling position. More of the contest took place on the feet with the striking.
Stay on him. Hit that body, my dude. Hit that body. You're out. Nice. No takedown.
Tokov
Don't let him breathe.
got it a little bit, got the takedown, said, all right, we're going to fight on the feet.
I was a little surprised to see the Tokov just backed off of that
immediately,
takedown.
right?
Yeah, just like, I don't want, I'm taking you down, but I'm letting you back up.
Hit the body again.
Arms are looking a bit heavy for Gonzalez.
I think arms are heavy for both of them.
I was just doing it right as I said that, John. I saw Vladimir throw that one, too.
All of these grappling positions, and man, they're so hard on holding a guy's weight, and your arms just fill with blood. They get heavy.
Both men unbeaten as professionals. Oh, there's that right hand again. Chris loves to wing that.
Would straighten that shot out, it would have a lot more effect in this fight than throwing that big wing overhand.
He's also got the reach, so he should be throwing it from further distance. He's smothering that punch so it won't have the same effect as if he was a little bit further away.
Yellowstone is cable's #1 drama, starring Academy Award winner Kevin Costner. Catch the season finale of Yellowstone this Sunday at 9 o'clock on Paramount Network.
It was another one of those lazy kicks that Tokov threw, and Gonzalez missed with the right hand, but could have potentially been a bad shot.
If you watch the feet of Chris Gonzalez, you can oftentimes predict when that big right hand's coming.
I've been talking about it. I thought that Chris is the guy expending more energy, but if you ask me, he's the fresher fighter at this point.
Trains alongside Darren Elkins, Andre Feely, Clay Guida, Josh Emmett. Got some great fighters from Russia and Dagestan at Team Alpha there.
Answers back. Tokov came with a nice 1-2 right before the Gonzalez threw that overhand right. Both exchanges nice right hands each other. Nice. Another one right there. Tokov having a hard time with his mouthpiece right now. He keeps swishing it around in his mouth. That interferes with your breathing as well as your concentration.
That switching of the stance by Chris Gonzalez has been continuous here in the third and final round.
Chris just got to put a little bit more pressure. If he puts a little bit more pressure, he could be winning this round because we don't know how the second round was built or judged.
Chris keeps on switching back, you know, from southpaw to orthodox stance, but it seems to me he's being more effective when he's in the orthodox stance as far as getting his shots off and land.
I'd like to see him add a kick, some kicks or knees in that transition because he's having some success with his speed. See right there, he threw the right hand, and he come back with the inside leg kick.
Just ain't two good shots in that exchange, though.
Need to cross first. 60 seconds.
That right hand.
Ooh, that was nice jab cross. Yep, right down the middle.
Maybe the best combination of the fight for Tokov, Josh.
Chris is going forward, he's being aggressive, but he's the one that's eating more of the shots here.
He's just walking down Vladimir Tokov.
You heard Danny Castillo say lift and knee, lift and knee.
That's because Tokov had his hand on the ground, which is making him a grounded fighter. Lift that hand up off of the mat, throw the knee. Some beautiful coaching. Nice way of listening by Chris Gonzalez.
Final seconds of this three-round fight.
Looked like his ankle got caught up underneath him. He stuck between the fence.
You can hear him kind of scream out a little bit in pain.
They go the distance.
Tough fight, tough fight. That was both guys' outstanding performances.
I'd hate to be a judge.
I always hate being a judge. Look at some of the striking of Tokov. It was the combinations, not just throwing one shot. Left, right, both hitting. Nice straight right hand, and it was when he was able to get that distance at the right point, he was landing with some power.
Well, Gonzalez's #1 mistake was he just kept covering his head and keeping his head right in line instead of moving his head left to right. So Tokov always knew where his target was
staying right on center.
It's in the hands of the judges. Who will remain undefeated?
I can watch that fight every weekend.
I watch that fight every day, man. That's what this sport's about. You saw all the transitions and all the cool things that both guys were doing. That was just outstanding technique. Beautiful display of MMA.
Coach Emelianenko. Will it be Gonzalez or will it be Tokov?
Zach Sound, Chicago, I love you guys.
John, something like this is taking a while, what does it normally mean? Is there anything in? I'm throwing it out to you, man.
Yeah, it does. You know, as far as people think that the judges are sitting there thinking, the judges have thought about it through the whole fight. Their scores went in right away. We have someone that's got a math problem in adding.
I was wondering if we needed the abacus or not. Yeah. Michael C. Williams now has counted things. Michael C.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first judge, Dan Mergliata, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Gonzalez. Your second judge, Jaron Villel, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Tokov. Your third and final judge at cage side, Mike Murtha, scores the fight 30-27 for the winner by split decision, Chris Gonzalez.
Split decision victory for Chris Gonzalez. Moves to 4-0. Here in Bellator.
Let's go, baby.
30-27 on the third judge's scorecard.
Stay fresh.
And Team Alpha Male's first member of the Bellator roster continues to be perfect. Here's Danny Castillo. All right, let's get it back to Jay and Jay.
All right, thanks, Goldie. Hey, I wish I was actually in your position tonight. That is a fight right there. That's the way to kick off this card. It's only our second prelim of the night. We already told you that the energy here is different. That was a heck of a prelim fight.
What just happened? Those guys are not supposed to be that good that early. Jay, those are great mixed martial artists. We saw a little bit of everything. We even saw endurance. We saw them push. I even saw a spladle at one point.
Right. I'm sitting here looking at you going on, and you're almost, but I can see you. You're trying to figure out how you would finish it in that moment.
Sure, okay, or not be finished in that moment. Well, if he could have pulled the leg behind his head, it would have opened up some opportunity to strike, but also to stretch a little bit more. Look, that's a real groin tactic. Very tough move. I got to give credit that the opponent got through it, but rare techniques, Jay. That was a real treat, I got to say.
Also, if you want to move up in the Bellator roster, that's what you do. You go out there and you throw to go every single time. Great job there in our second prelim of the fight. All right, later on tonight, we have one of the teammates of Tokov, who just fought. Valentin Moldavsky goes against Roy Nelson, who, if my math is correct, and it may not be, this is his 46th professional fight. Just letting you know, it may not be accurate. We're going to start with Roy Nelson here, man. We have seen almost a metamorphosis of Roy Nelson. Early on, he would take everybody down, put them in a crucifix, and tap you out over there. And then almost like, I think he started falling in love with everybody seeing him just take a beating and him stand on his feet. What do you want to see from Roy Nelson tonight?
Okay, if I was to be critical of Roy, I would only have one thing to say, which is, Jay, he's been planting his feet and standing there lately. He's not moving around a lot. Now, if you want to play that game, plant your feet and see who can get to the target first, okay, it's a little risky, but you can do it. But you need your opponent to do the same thing with you, right? He's got to stand there too, and then we just go to fisticuffs. I think that that's one issue that Roy has had. And instead of standing there, Jay, I would encourage him, get that underhook. Push his opponent up to the fence. Use some time. He's got a weight advantage. Make your opponent feel the weight. I fear if he does not do that, Jay, he's going to get picked apart.
Yeah, look, I think one of the things with Roy Nelson is the fans love the fact that he would stand there and he would take a beating. He'd be like Rocky out there. But sometimes you go, you know what, I got to do what's better for my fight game plan than what the fans like. Moldavsky, who he's going against, man, if he's just going to stand there and go against him, he is too crafty and slick on his feet, I think. You were talking about it earlier, just his foot movement.
Sure, and Moldavsky weighs 230 pounds. He's a hybrid heavyweight, but he's a small heavyweight. Now, what else does that mean, Jay? It means he's maybe not going to have the power of, say, a Mitrione or some other guys that Roy Nelson's been in there with, but it means he's going to move a little bit more. It means he is going to be a little bit quicker. He's going to be harder to touch, and he's going to have an easier time touching you, which is why I go back to the suggestion, get your hands on him. Push him into the fence, make him feel that weight, slow him down.
All right, that is later on our main card. Our prelims roll on. Goldie.
Thank you, guys. We continue with one contracted at 150 pounds. Bellator debut for both the native of Brooklyn, New York, and Kiev in the Ukraine. 16-1, a very impressive record. John DeJesus will have quite a reach advantage. With the official introductions, once again, Michael C. Williams.
Tonight here, Mohegan Sun Arena, the prelims roll on here at Bellator 244 with 3 5-minute rounds at a contract weight of 150 pounds. We introduce the blue corner, first at 5'10", weighing in 149.1 pounds. His professional record, 12 wins, 8 losses, fighting out of Hollywood, Florida, by way of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, John Platano de Jesus. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'7", weighing in 149.6 pounds. As a professional, he's near perfect. 16 wins, just 1 defeat, fighting out of Kiev, Ukraine, presenting Vladislav Parubchenko. And the referee in charge once again, Brian Miner.
Brian Miner busy early here tonight. He's got this one at 150 pounds, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Both De Jesus and Parubchenko making their Bellator debuts. Tonight's fight clock brought to you by Geico. The Ukrainian in the red gloves, native of Brooklyn, training in Hollywood, Florida, and also calling Pittsburgh home, John De Jesus in the blue gloves. He's a southpaw. Vladislav will switch his stance quite frequently.
Parubchenko is really compact in everything he does, but he wants to get the fight to the ground. Usually when you're watching him fight, everything he does is leading towards a takedown.
First fight in just over 2 years for Parubchenko. 16-1 record, 9-fight win streak.
All right, you guys both did a really good job at his name. I'm going to call him Vladislav. Without me butchering it.
Vladislav is good.
And if that starts getting difficult, just go Vladdy.
Yeah, Vladdy.
Guard, stay loaded. Stay loaded. Don't get flat. Don't be afraid to bring it up the middle.
Platano comes from his Dominican roots. It's his power, he says, from eating plantains.
Take center.
I didn't know plantains gave me power.
Well, he says they do, so go home and have me some.
Tell you what, call him the wife. He's going to the store.
De Jesus did a nice little job there on the inside leg kick and the calf, though, so that takes away sometimes the penetration for the takedown.
You saw Parubchenko go for that takedown, but he didn't set it up, and that's why De Jesus was able to stuff the takedown. De Jesus is a good athlete. He's fast, he's elusive, he's got good footwork. He needs to keep Parubchenko on the outside of his reach.
Training out of the Academy of Pittsburgh Martial Arts and Fitness. Talked about his timing, his speed, his movement, his vision. Going up against the master of sporting combat, Sambo, black belt in judo.
De Jesus out-juked himself.
Yeah.
Back to the hands, John. 1-4. 1-8, 1-4. We're there.
This is where you have a traditional stand-up guy versus someone who you know is trying to get the takedown. He's only throwing punches to distract you, to close the distance, to try to get to the body lock or press you to the fence.
And on the tail of the tape, we saw the reach advantage.
De Jesus should be utilizing that right hand. That jab should be coming out. Every time you see Parubchenko take a step forward, that hand should be coming out, making it pay.
Well, I also like what De Jesus did with the inside leg kick. He needs to go there and then potentially go to the head kick as well, because that'll keep Parubchenko's hands to his chin, so he's not able to throw it or at least get to the body lock for the takedown.
Let's get those feints going. Own the timing. Own the timing. Own the timing. Broken rhythm. Start working. There you go. You got it.
Trying to find that movement and the timing so that he can go and become the aggressor here in round number 1.
90 seconds, John.
Born in Brooklyn, moved to the Dominican Republic at age 5. Was there for just a couple of years. Then the family went to Florida. Still spends his summers in the Dominican Republic. And this is where Parubchenko wants to fight.
He's absolutely where he wants to be. He's really good with the body lock. He's good at taking it exactly where the nice inside trip, sweeps the leg out, will bring him off to the side that he decides to bring that inside trip to.
Yep. Dig.
Nice job by De Jesus, turning it and being able to clear the arms to get out.
John, right back in his face. Let's go.
Vladislav's brother Dmitry, a 4-time combat sambo world champion, one of his trainers and training partners. 45 seconds.
Both guys really afraid to make a mistake early.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. You're watching, it's like, you can see how tight Parubchenko is, and you're looking at what De Jesus is doing. De Jesus needs to stop being non-offensive just based upon worried about being taken. You got to make a decision. I've got to be offensive. I've got to go after this guy at moments. That's when he's coming into you, fine, but when you figure out that range, start to throw.
Like the Superman
just like
there.
that.
Yep. Quick little Superman strike. And round 1 is concluded.
All the things you saw in that last 10 seconds of the round by De Jesus is what you should be seeing from him continuously throughout that round.
I would like to say that, but then the problem is, though, too, you can tell he's someone that's really explosive. And when somebody's that explosive, they tend to slow down as the fight goes on. So he's got to pick and choose his shots. I like how he did that at the end of the round. He kind of stole the round. They were clean, nice, hard shots.
A little bit more. You're doing good. You're making him do everything we want you to do.
Exactly like you did.
Don't come in.
I'm following your lead. It must be why you're sitting in the center.
Yes, it must be. It must be. I have a great view of the cage. It makes it easy for me to see this stuff.
Neither guy has really said how you scored it yet. I don't know how you guys know you did it.
This is that flying knee attempt. He brings it up, but just the thought that he's going after that's a good thing, because even in the back of the mind of Parubchenko, it's like, oh, I got to be careful. I got to watch for that.
Yeah. And now he's thinking about it if he goes to shoot for a takedown here, especially early in round 2. Red gloves for 16-1. Vladislav Parubchenko, John De Jesus, 12 career wins, also making his Bellator debut in the blue gloves. That back foot ready to kick. And he throws the low kick there.
Anytime he gets close, let your hands go. Or run into something. You're not getting out punched, John. Let's go. Let's see some hands.
Coach is giving John good advice. You're not going to get out punched.
Right hip.
Good timing by his opponent. Gets inside, and now let's see what Parubchenko can do from inside the guard of John De Jesus.
Create the space, John. Get on one side. Get on one side. Create the space.
If you're afraid of someone taking you down, you normally want to try to aim for their chest or right below their chin. And what he did was he aimed right for the head. Parubchenko just went right underneath, dipped underneath, got right to the takedown.
You got to get busy under there. Let's go, John. Urgent. Get up.
That's the problem, John, at the end of the first round. You come out in the second round with a little bit of confidence. Like, oh, I got this.
Find a hit.
That's what happens.
Let's go, John. Push the head. Create. There you go. Kick off. Kick off. Kick off. Watch your head. Kick off.
You hear De Jesus' corner say kick off. It's not always that easy. I want everyone at home to understand that when you put your feet on the hips, sometimes that's a way for you to also get past and be in an even worse position.
Head control. Find a hip. Head control. Find a hip. Push the head. Push the head.
Parubchenko, 17 professional fights, has only gone to decision on one occasion.
Short elbows, head control. Find that elbow.
His lone loss was a first-round TKO over 5 years ago.
Find the hip, John. You got to create space. You got to create space. Move away from him. There you go. Up. Go, John.
There's all kinds of ways of going about ground and pound. One of the most effective ways is what you saw Parubchenko starting to do, bring his head over the top of his opponent's head so he can land heavy shots.
The only problem with doing that, though, John, is it becomes like a teeter-totter position. Yeah. So if De Jesus puts his feet on the hips, he can potentially like kick him up and over him to at least cause a scramble to get back to his feet. I'm more of someone that likes that position he was just in, where his knees are pinching the hips, he's posturing up. I even like sometimes to put the hand on the neck. Not so much choke, not like choke, but put the hand on the neck to hold him in place to strike and then mix it up. Switch your hand from to the neck, back and forth as you strike with the opposite hand.
Get up, John. Work to the cage and get up. Find it. Kick off. Yep.
8 submission wins
Threaten the triangle. You can threaten
for
it.
Parubchenko during this 9-fight win streak.
Push the wrist.
At one time going to decision, he did win by a unanimous decision, and trying to do damage here from the top here in round 2.
Try and get double over.
But what all this is doing is it's slowing De Jesus down. So even when they get back to their feet, the explosiveness, the footwork, the straight punches, the speed, all that stuff is going to be gone. Or it won't be gone, but it'll be a little less.
Beautiful pass by Parubchenko. You saw him take his hand, control the hips, swing his legs up over it. Nice job by De Jesus to get out.
Back to work. Loaded.
So now let's see what De Jesus has.
Oh, big knee.
Nicely done, John De Jesus. Looking for it again.
Man, that hit's solid. You got to give Parubchenko some credit. That was a solid shot. He just walked through it.
Parubchenko's bleeding pretty bad. I couldn't see it. I saw the blood coming through, but I can't see the nose too much.
Right, John, let's go. Left and right. John, get that right under him. Get off the cage. Yes, get off.
Josh, that was pretty explosive after spending all that time on his back.
That was a solid shot. What happened was Parubchenko knew that he needs to get on him so he can get him back to the ground. You see him kind of slowing down. Both fighters kind of slowing down. Then De Jesus jumped up, flying knee, walked right into it. I mean, we heard
Looking towards a high crotch.
We heard his jaw clap.
Yeah, click.
We heard the click of the jaw or the nose.
Kick back, attack the grip, kick back. 30 seconds.
He's bleeding pretty bad out of that nose right now.
Which is going to affect his breathing.
Kick down. There you go.
Oh my. Little gamesmanship now that De Jesus able to fight through that takedown attempt. Again to the knee.
Here's a look at the flying knee. This one lands right there, straight in. You saw the first one. There was a good 6 inches of it before it missed. This one was on target. You saw how hard that hit. You've got to give Parubchenko credit for being able to survive that. There was that sound you were talking about, Josh. That was called the splat. When you get a splat in a fight, you know something went well for you.
Yeah, you saw Parubchenko touch his nose right as soon as the round ended. He turned away from De Jesus and grabbed his nose to see if it was broken.
Use your hands!
The featherweight world champion says, and I quote, young fighters should listen to our good friend Big John McCarthy commentate fights. He will teach you what a judge is looking at during a fight if you're listening.
You notice you don't see Josh's name. Thank you very much, Chris. I love you.
She may have run out of characters.
I don't believe that was the real tweet, by the way. Okay, run it back. Run it back.
Let's get her live, you know.
Time!
Julia Budd on the main card later tonight. Of course, Chris Cyborg defeated her back in January.
Cyborg, you cut me deep. You cut me real deep.
Yeah. Okay, all right. He's all right.
Ready? Ready?
Third and final round. A lot of confidence now for John De Jesus.
John, let's talk about that second round, though, because Parubchenko basically won majority of that round, except for that last shot. I know, I'm going to keep getting into you here tonight. Cyborg just credits you, so I'm going to make sure that you live up to this reputation.
I want you to think about where the fight was at. And even when it was on the ground, Parubchenko was not landing big shots, but he was landing a lot of volume. A lot of volume was being put there. Little shots, elbows, punches. That was a long time without a whole lot of offense coming out of De Jesus. Now, De Jesus landed that big knee. That's the best shot of the round. But did it put Parubchenko down? It didn't put him down. It was a good, heavy blow. But the overall volume of what Parubchenko landed probably got him that round. I think we have an even fight going into the third round.
Look for that low high. Look for that low high.
Now, early in the round, Josh, you talked about if you don't want to be taken down, aim for the chest or that area as the striker. and Parubchenko was able to duck under the strike from De Jesus. Parubchenko was making that same movement late in the round when he ate the knee.
Exactly, yeah. So what you're going to see with De Jesus, I think you hear his corner tone boxing like throw your punches. What he's got to do is make sure he's aiming it right below the chin. So when Parubchenko tries to drop his level to get on the takedown, it stuffs everything he does. It makes it harder for him to get a good penetration step.
Let's go, right back in, John.
One of the things a lot of times you'll see a coach talking to his fighter or training him, when you're going to face a guy that's always trying to take you down and coming straight into you like Parubchenko does, that nice little short uppercut with either hand, and you're looking at a guy from a southpaw position, so that right hand of De Jesus, that short uppercut, if the guy's switching and transitioning to come down and dropping that level, it's going to hit him, and if he's not, it's still going to reach out and touch him. It's a great shot to help keep you in maintaining that distance and give something to that guy for him to think about.
Parubchenko just threw another body kick. De Jesus threw a nice jab right down the middle, opened up his nose again, bleeding again.
A combat Sambo world champion, Vladislav, like his brother, two-time for Vladislav, four-time for his brother Dimitri. Both men looking for victory in their Bellator debut.
Nice movement. Real good move by John De Jesus. And a lot of times it's the guys that you're working out with all the time. That's why guys work in certain gyms. And right now, he's working out with guys like Kama Worthy and Jake Schilling. These are guys that are high-level fighters that give a lot of movement, give a lot of different looks. You can see that they've helped elevate the game of John De Jesus.
The signs of a good striker, especially in MMA, is someone that takes one or two steps backwards and circles out. It doesn't just keep going straight back into the fence. And you can see that from De Jesus. What he's doing is every time Parubchenko tries to step in, he takes one step back and he circles out to make sure his back is in against the fence. That's another thing we'll be looking for tonight from Nemkov against Ryan Bader.
Stay right in front of Ryan. There's a good chance you're going to be put on your back.
Good job of circling right through that by De Jesus. Oh, that was a nice shot, though. Parubchenko hit him with a beautiful uppercut. That rocked him. That's why you see De Jesus on his bike, moving backwards, trying to gain some time and distance.
And John De Jesus tried to land that same type of punch. Big John just missed it.
So what you're finding out now, though, is Parubchenko he's wasting so much energy trying to get it on the takedown or trying to close the distance. So now he's just abandoned that, and now he's throwing strikes. And De Jesus is thinking takedown, but Parubchenko's landing the punches now because he thinks the takedown's coming.
9-fight win streak. 40 seconds away from going the distance for just the second time
nice job
in his professional career. And the movement, a real key here late for De Jesus.
Beautiful knee right up the gut. That was nice. You saw Parubchenko take a step back and drop his elbow down to that side. There it is again.
Oh, nice knee. Good shots. And he's got the clinch to work with as well. 20 seconds.
He mixed it up there as well. 2 knees to the body, then 1 knee to the head that landed clean.
Watch for it again. He's trying to load up. Nice in the hands of the judges.
That transition won him the round, I believe.
No, he had won the round before it.
But you thought so?
Absolutely. But you take a look at what was being done there, and this is where a lot of guys will sit there and say, oh, the takedown. Nice Parubchenko, but it worked against him. And all of these things that you saw as far as the heavy shots. Now, it's not that De Jesus didn't take a heavy shot, too. There's a little shot. That was the uppercut that hurt him, and you saw De Jesus quickly get on that bike. But look at these knees, and the difference that you're looking at is like a caliber of a weapon. That punch is like a 22 caliber weapon, but that knee's like a 50 caliber. So which one's hitting you harder? It's the 50 caliber. Oh, that was that one for the second round again.
Hey, Josh, Chris Cyborg just texted me and said John was right. He won the round earlier.
None of this on the ground is ours.
She didn't want to, like, full-on social on you again.
Well, first off, I know she doesn't have your number.
All right, that's fair. There's truth to that. The champ watching at home. De Jesus takes Parubchenko the distance.
John, I thought it was a close fight in that third. I thought the third round was close until he landed the 2 knees to the body and then 1 to the head. I thought he started taking over the round, but I could have seen it going either way until that last little transition with getting to the mount position. I know there wasn't a whole lot going on at that position, but sometimes it leaves that lasting impression of like, okay, yeah, for sure he's won this round.
It can definitely leave that lasting impression, but the thing to think about, for the fans out there is MMA is not a sport about attaining positions. Like in wrestling, we get points for attaining a position. In jiu-jitsu, we get points for attaining a position. In MMA, it's about what did you do with the position.
Is that really how it goes?
That is the way it goes.
It's 20 years. I'm just figuring this out now.
I fucking love it. 23 years. I'm feeling good about myself right now, too. We're getting more smarter right now.
Mine. This is mine. I'll do better next time, but this is mine. I'll do better next time, but this is mine.
The Jesus powered by plantains. Did he get himself a victory here in his Bellator debut and snap the 9-fight winning streak of his opponent from the Ukraine, Vladislav Parubchenko? Judges have rendered their decision. Here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first judge, Mike Murtha, scores at 29-28. Jaron Vallel, 30-27. Doug Crosby, 29-28. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, John Plantano de Jesus.
Unanimous decision victory for John de Jesus as he hands Parubchenko his first loss in over 5 years. Back up to Jay.
Another great prelim there for you. Our main card of the evening later on tonight kicks off with John Salter, Andrew Capel. Hey, don't blink on this one because between the two of them, they have 25 wins in the first round via KO or submission. We're going to start with John Salter. Salter is a very well-rounded fighter, but his submission game is fantastic.
Yeah, look, if you watch his highlights, Jay, or even if you just go read about Salter's record and his wins and losses on paper, you're going to come away with the right opinion that he's a very dangerous guy on the ground, but you might be misled about how he gets there. He's very good at wrestling. He doesn't do a lot of work from his back with the sweeps. He's very good at getting position the first time, but he closes the distance on his feet with heavy punches. This is a guy that can do a little bit of everything. Sure, he favors the ground. I'll concede that to you, but if you overlook his right hand, if you overlook some of those teeth, if you overlook the elbows and the knees, you're going to be judging him falsely.
And then he's going against Andrew Capel. Look, Andrew Capel also, it's just his second fight in Bellator. First fight, they gave him somebody that said, okay, he's going to go in somewhat, be the sacrificial lamb. That's not what happened.
Okay, now that's very relevant that you bring that up because now you're talking about a guy who can deal with nerves. Okay, this is a very good claim to fame. If there's a guy you're going to beat and you want credit for, King Mo's the guy. I mean, that means something. Not a lot of people can do this, but I will only offer you that Capel had to go into that fight knowing that he was the underdog, knowing that he wasn't supposed to win. Jay, he made that walk anyway. He brought his skills with him. I think that's what we really learned.
There's something to say for confidence. We just saw it with Tim Johnson. Let's see if Capel could take this into the cage with him tonight against John Salter. That is later on. That kicks off our main card. Goldie, take it back, brother.
Thank you very much, Jay. Our tail of the tape for this contracted matchup. Salim Muhidinov. 7 wins, including 1 in the Bellator cage, taking on Weber Almeida, who is 3-0 as a professional. With the official introductions, once again, here is the voice.
Tonight here at Bellator 244, we go now to a contract weight of 147 pounds. We're scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in 147.8 pounds. His professional record, 7 wins, 4 losses. Hailing from Dushanbe, Tajikistan, he fights out of San Jose, California, Salim the Dream Muhidinov. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'7", weighing in 147.5 pounds. As a professional, 3 victories, no defeats. From Cuiabá, Mato Grosso, Brazil, presenting Weber, the silverback Almeida. And the referee in charge, Kerry Hatley.
Kerry Hatley, our referee. AKA against the Machida team. And a little bit of team CMMA as well. Salem has spent a little time in San Jose training over the years. Third fight for both of these men inside the Bellator cage. Tonight's clock brought to you by Geico. Red gloves for Almeida. He will switch his stance, as will his opponent in the blue gloves.
Salem Mukadinov giving Weber Almeida one of his favorite kicks, that kick to the leg. He does it all the time, utilizing almost a karate stance. Salem is a very well-rounded fighter now. He started off more as a stand-up guy, Muay Thai style, but his wrestling has really come along, Josh.
Yeah, he trains at AK, and I've trained with him multiple times for several of his fights. He also was one of my training partners as well for years. So he's helped me. His ground game has gotten so much better, though. A lot with the Dagestani wrestlers coming in, from Khabib Nurmagomedov to Islam Makhachev, all the way DC being there as well. That whole group of guys has evolved his wrestling game. They've also got a new jiu-jitsu coach there named Ron Kessler, who's also helped his jiu-jitsu game. So don't be surprised if you see Salem potentially trying to get a takedown here and work on the grappling portion of his game.
One thing he definitely needs to be careful of. Weber Almeida is a guy that's coming from bantamweight, and he's even above the featherweight. But Weber Almeida has got power. As you would say, he's got dogs in his hands. Yeah. He's got to be careful because it only takes one. He has knocked out several guys here in Bellator, showing that that power is for real.
His head coach, Shinzo Machida. One of his main training partners, the Dragon, Lyoto Machida.
But we also saw in Weber's last fight, as the fight went on, he got into a couple good exchanges, he started to slow down. His punches got a little bit more wild, and he left his chin higher up in the air. That's just a little bit more experience he needs in these type of positions. There's no doubt he has the power there.
You don't see guys usually in the 135 that have that one-punch knockout power. He's got that. It's rare.
Shotokan karate background. Good core strength. Actually, his first fight was at 170 pounds. Then 135, 145, now this one. Got that one off the arm and returned fire. Last 3 fights for Mukhadinov have been at 145, primarily a lightweight and welterweight before that. Little switch there, and that one did not work, although he's able to get up and looking for the top. Good scramble. Shinzo's saying, a little while. We're going to settle this down just a little bit. I couldn't even understand that portion. There's some Portuguese around my house, and calma, I think, means calm down a little bit.
Nice straight left up on
I'm sure you hear that all the time.
More than I need to. Or probably not more than I need to. More than I want to.
Good, hands up.
I hear a lot that I don't understand too, John, and I'm afraid to look it up.
Just go with it, Mike.
Just leave it. Leave it alone, right?
Mukadinov is doing a really nice job of keeping Weber's back towards that cage, though. He's making Weber work. There's that one-punch power.
Looking to finish it right here, right now.
So you gotta work on that, come up with that single leg.
Mukadinov is in real trouble here, Josh. He is seriously hurt.
He's to start grabbing the leg. He's in a lot of trouble right now.
It's all over! Just like that! Weber Almeida! Big right hand in the finish. And he remains unbeaten here inside the Bellator cage.
I got to tell you, that is as impressive a performance by Weber Almeida as we have seen, because the guy he just knocked out is a damn good fighter.
Not only is he very good, like, with Salem, he just likes to mix everything up, and Almeida just waited for him to throw first, came right over the top, then left himself open, Salem did, and landed a nice overhand right.
That big right hand landed square in the middle of Bukadinov's face. He was hurt from that point. He took quite a few shots after, but I don't even think any of them were really needed. It was this big right hand.
But this is what you get when you fight someone from the Machida camp, is they know their distance so well. So you saw Salem reaching for the punch and left himself out of position, and Almeida was able to capitalize on it. That's what you see from always the guys that come from Machida's camp.
Ryan Bader, Lyoto Machida. That's exactly what happened. Ryan reached out, Lyoto countered, boom, right into the wood chipper.
Several guys have been on the other end.
They have. There's a happy head coach, Chinzo. Very impressive. And now 4-0 as a professional, 3-0 in Bellator. The Machida Karate black belt. Weber Almeida. Michael C. Williams to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 3 minutes, 57 seconds, round number 1 for the winner by knockout, the silver bag, Weber Almeida.
All 4 career wins by knockout, 3 of them in the first round. Weber Almeida with that Machida Karate, effective, victorious. Back up to Jay.
All right, thanks, Goldie. Again, these prelims are just rolling on tonight. Light heavyweight gold is on the line later tonight, and our main event, our co-main event, is our former champion, Julia Budd. She takes on Jessie Mealy, and look, they have a common opponent in Nogueira. Budd knocked her out. Mealy defeated her also, but what can you get from that? They fought, obviously, it was a year and a half apart, but what can you take from that common opponent?
Look, you can take a lot from it only because Nogueira is such a durable and tough opponent. The fact that they both beat her, look, Julia Budd has not been offered a whole lot of resistance as of late. She has really separated herself from the pack, but I do think that this is what we're starting to see with Jessie as well. I think we're starting to see, oh, she has the skills. Oh, she has the durability, and I think that that is where Nogueira comes into play.
Okay, well, let's take a look here, Julia Budd. Obviously, we know she's like a freight train. She's going to come in there, great striking, and she has obviously fought the best since she got into this business.
Yeah, Jay, and I would only wonder and question from a mental standpoint, is this a relief? Is it a relief to be in a 3-round contest for the first time in a meaningful period of time? I believe 4 years off the top of my head. Is it a relief to not feel the stress and the pressure of defending or trying to claim a world championship? Or is it the opposite? Does it allow her or force her inadvertently to take her eye off the ball? I don't know the answers to those questions, but anytime you're coming back from a loss of a championship, you have something to prove.
Obviously, Cyborg and Mealy don't have the same physical traits, right? Physical strength. What can Mealy still take from that fight that maybe she could do and capitalize today against Julia Budd?
Well, one thing that I think Mealy can take is to understand Julia Budd isn't completely invincible. To understand that there is ways to get inside, there is ways to rattle. I don't know that Mealy has the same skill set as Chris Cyborg and certainly not the same power. But that doesn't mean she can't get the same result. That doesn't mean she can't go make this a gritty fight, find a way to close the distance, take those kicks out of it from Julia. It's not worth the risk of thinking I can check it or block it. Just close the distance, make them go away.
Could she finish this fight on the ground?
She could finish this fight on the ground. Now, speaking to her, she's not looking for a submission, she's looking for position. I think that's interesting when you understand she's a jiu-jitsu black belt. But she said, no, forget all that. I want to be on top.
All right. GLP Sonnen, we have a great seat up here. Nowhere near the 3 guys down cage side. Time to go back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Glaze. This is our main card. It begins 10 o'clock East, 9 Central, our main event for the light heavyweight championship. Ryan Bader, Vadim Nemkov, Jessie Mealy, and Julia Budd, the guys we're just talking about. And Big John, maybe of all the fighter interviews, your favorite comment was when Jessie said, nobody really wants to be on bottom.
It's just so much the truth that you get a black belt from jiu-jitsu that will sit there and go, no, I don't want to be on bottom. No one really wants to be on bottom. Perfect statement.
I never thought in a million years that I would say this in my lifetime. I agree with Che a little bit tonight. The pressure's on Julia Budd. Or is it? Is she happy with the fact that she's not champion right now and she doesn't have the stress of it all? Or is she going to come in and go?
We will find out later tonight live on Paramount Network. Preliminary action continues. Our tail of the tape for this bantamweight fight. Eric Perez, 19 career wins. Josh Hill, identical amount of wins.
You just had to say it, didn't you?
I did, and I stopped myself from the virtual.
Both great fighters. This is going to be good.
Certainly is. Here's Michael C. Williams.
For those joining us tonight live on Bellator's YouTube channel, we welcome you to the prelims here at Bellator 244 as we go now to the bantamweight division scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'6", weighing in 136 pounds as a professional, 19 wins, 3 losses from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, gentleman Josh Hill. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'8", weighing in 135.6 pounds as a professional, 19 victories, 7 defeats from Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico. He fights out of San Diego, California, Eric Goyito Perez. In charge of the action, referee Kerry Hatley.
Kerry Hatley, our referee. Both men with 19 career victories. I can give a little shout out to Jumbo.
You ready? Ready?
With a little 19 there.
Oh, there you go.
Here we go. Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Geico. Eric Perez, winner of 5 of his last 6 in the red gloves. Josh Hill in the blue gloves. Perez had not lost in 5.5 years prior to last December when he was finishing just 54 seconds by Toby Misic.
Well, that can happen. That was his Bellator debut, but look, Toby Misic has got fast hands and he can swat. He just landed a beautiful shot on Perez to put him out. That can happen to anybody in this sport.
Toby Misic's got dogs.
Yes, he does.
He's got some power in his hands.
Yeah, it was the first time Eric Perez had ever been knocked out as well. Hamilton, Ontario, Canada's Josh Hill.
You landed some good shots in that exchange right there, John.
Yeah, well, what you're going to see in the stark contrast between these two guys. Perez is a junkyard dog. He will take shots to give shots, where Josh Hill is the more technical fighter. He likes to get in and out. He'll switch his stance. He'll go for the takedowns. He likes to be that complete MMA fighter.
Matchup of 2 very explosive and dangerous fighters here at 135.
That right hand that you saw Josh Hill throw and land is a telling shot because he's timing Eric Perez as he's coming in. And Eric Perez, one thing you're seeing, his head is staying on the center line when he comes straight forward.
Here's the other thing. Perez is loading up, and you can see he gets real tense right before he throws, and Hill's been able to pick that up.
Josh Hill spends some time with Team Alpha Male, Parabellum MMA, and his own gym, Vision Quest MMA.
They have such a good group of small guys that are there, right? That group from just Uriah owning the gym and everyone that's been through there. That whole group, like, normally when you see guys in this weight class, they probably trained.
Beautiful exit by Josh Hill. You saw him slide that left elbow and landed cleanly against the right side of Eric Perez's head. This is, what you're seeing is a technical display by Josh Hill as far as fighting smart, being effective. Don't take the big chance.
Hands are in perfect position. Watch those blue gloves.
You just heard Eric Perez's corner yelling, move his head, move his head.
Alliance MMA for about the last 5 years for Eric Perez.
The other good thing about Josh Hill, look at his chin position. Look where his head's at. That makes it to where when you land that shot that could be the perfect knockout shot, he's able to survive it and continue on in the fight. His chin does not get up in the air.
Brilliant at the basics. Right off the shin on that one.
That hurt both of them.
No question about hurt me.
That's not saying much.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful low calf kick by Josh Hill.
John, do you grab Josh a pair of skates, please?
That was for the cyborg comment.
All right, that's fair. 1-1. We're good.
Perez bringing a lot of pressure, man. He's coming after Hill. He's trying to force this into that dog fight. He, junkyard dog. I want you to fight the brawl because that's where I'm going to be successful.
Perez also known for his conditioning, so as this fight goes, he's going to still be in his grill, in Josh Hill's grill, just pushing the pace, pressing the action.
You probably weren't wrong, Josh. Be a little honest.
Goldie, we're still on that?
Well, I was giving you a little credit, you know.
What Perez needs to do here is pull his legs away from the fence so that his back can't lean against the fence. That'll help put his butt to the ground.
Get his hips off of it.
Keep those elbows in, protect the body. Nice. Hey, let's get some air miles. Take your time.
20 seconds, round 1.
What you're seeing, the difference is Hill is throwing everything tight, but not like he's loading up and throwing, so it's not a lot of expended energy, whereas Perez is throwing everything super hard. And when he misses, he misses big. He misses big and he's hitting air. That makes you just as tired as when you are in exchanges.
Stop. Good round for both fighters, but a clear round as far as the guy who was more effective in the fight. You've got to look at what Josh Hill is doing, how he's composed. He's not overextending. Eric's overextending a little bit too much right now.
All right, fans watching around the world, our members of Bellator Nation and more so, we want to know who you believe will win tonight's main event of the evening. Our Twitter poll, will it be the champion defending his belt at 205 for the second time, or will we have our first Russian light heavyweight champion in a major organization? At Bellator MMA, the Twitter poll, cast your vote right now, Bader or Nemkov. We will find out.
Can I choose both?
Yeah, you can.
Doesn't normally go that way.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if you know.
I think Chael kind of has.
You'll have to explain the judging.
Chael kind of has chosen both, though, hasn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He cheated. Shocking that Chael saw and cheated.
All right, man, here we go. Round two. Ready?
That's how the scoring, the rules go around.
Oh, wow. Your feelings really are hurt. Chris Cyborg probably feels bad right now, Josh. Speaking of Josh Hill in the blue gloves, red gloves for Eric Perez. One thing Josh Hill may have wanted to avoid earlier in his career were fights against Marlon Moraes. Because of his 3 losses, 2 of them were to Marlon.
What I want to see out of Perez, though, is I want to see him throw a feint before he throws that kick, because Hill is countering everything off of that. Perez is just throwing, I like to call it throwing it raw dog. He's not setting it up. He's just throwing it blindly, like no feint, no jab, nothing behind it.
I love it, buddy. Nice shot. You gotta start adding on legs.
You see Perez's calf is a little bit swollen right now from the Hill kicks. That's going to potentially play a factor on his movement as the fight goes on if Hill keeps going to that calf.
Trying to mix it up, going up the middle.
Perez finding his mark, though, at the beginning of this round.
Yeah, he's looking good. You know, he's giving little feints. His head is still down the center. He's not moving it. Every now and then you'll hear it gets cornered, but he's got to just make sure that when he throws, bring that head off that center line.
That's what I wanted him to do, what he just did right there. He threw a little fake 1-2 and then came with the leg kick. The other thing as well, John, is that in the first round, the emotions are high. He lost his debut, and now he's here. He wanted to prove a point. You could tell he came out with really aggressive. He's throwing everything really hard. He's settled into the fight now.
Guns a-blazing, but now he's, as you said, he's in a rhythm. He's feeling pretty good. Just blocked that shot with his forehead.
blood coming out of the nose of Eric Perez. And Josh, not only did he lose his debut, he never really got to get things started. It was over before he really was able to showcase the skills that got him signed by Bellator.
Yeah, but this is what happens. I tell people this all the time. I've fought in almost every major promotion around the world. And every time you go to that new promotion, there's a lot of nerves. There's a lot of things that are involved. You have a new contract. Normally the money's good, you know, and so there's a lot of pressure on you to perform. And it's unfortunate that it turned out the way it is, but I think right now he's settled into the fight. He's looking like he should have looked in the first fight. The emotions and all that stuff got the better of him in that first fight. We saw a little bit in the first round of this fight. Now in the second round, we're seeing the real Perez.
His older brother, former professional boxer. He's a cowboy, he says. His brothers, Ivan and Yair, are training partners at Alliance as well. So it is a fighting family, the Perez family. One man looking for their 20th career victory. Both men looking for it. One man will leave with their 20th career victory here tonight. Will it be Perez in the red gloves or Hill in the blue gloves?
Some really good head positioning by Perez until he got turned, and then you saw again Josh Hill on the exit landing that elbow. Perez has got to figure out that when he is in that clinch, he's got to be careful of the elbows that Josh Hill throws.
Calf kick, which is slowing Perez's movement around. He was in the first round, and in the beginning of this round, he was putting a lot of pressure coming forward.
Big John, this fight's going pretty much how you talked about it going. When we discussed it earlier, you said this is somewhat of a toss-up fight, and that's what we've seen so far.
And both guys are so good. They do things just a little bit different. Josh Hill, like I said, he's the more technical guy and likes to stay very tight what he does. Where Perez is that junkyard dog. He'll go after you. He'll get into the exchanges thinking, I will land the bigger shots. I'll take yours to give mine. Nice takedown by Josh Hill.
Great timing on the takedown. He knew that Perez was loading up because his back was to the fence. He was able just to go ahead and throw a big combination and dip down underneath the hands.
Good work by Perez to get himself back to his feet. Almost stuck his head towards the guillotine, got his head back up. These guys they're just putting it out here, man. This is a close fight.
Final 10 seconds of the second.
Beautiful little tap on the leg, bring him down. Again, right back to his feet. So it's more of a change of position. It was a nice little takedown, but nothing happened with it.
It still scores though, right, John?
Absolutely it scores. But it's not a big part of the fight because it didn't have an effect on the fight.
20 years of fighting, I'm figuring out the rules, Goldie.
So Cyborg was right. Bellator fans, gear up in the same apparel the fighters wear at BellatorShop.com. Purchase now and get 10% off with promo code CHAMPION. And we have a championship on the line. Later tonight, live on Paramount Network, our main event of the evening, Ryan Bader and Vadim Nemkov. The beautiful Mercedes here with us inside our safe zone, Mohegan Sun Arena. Our partners at Hartford Healthcare doing a tremendous job keeping everyone safe, healthy, and allowing us to bring you some great battles from the Bellator cage. Give me a scorecard, Big John.
All right, here we go. I'll tell you what, right now I have it even. I think it's a close fight, but we'll see what happens. I think this is the round. Both guys need to come out here and have some urgency as far as I need to get this round.
Thanks for asking, Goldie.
You're welcome.
I think it's 2-0 Hill.
Yeah?
Yes, I think it's 2-0 Hill.
And it could be. It definitely could be. He landed some good shots, but Perez landed some good shots in that second round too. So really it's a question of what is the judge seeing, because the judge is only seeing things usually from one perspective. As the fight moves, you know, the referee gets in front of him. We're able to see, you know, the fight sometimes on these big screens, and you can see a whole lot more. The judges don't always get that same aspect.
Give me a scorecard, Josh.
2-0. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome. I got you, brother. I got you. Win or tie, I got you, brother.
I think this is what the difference is, John. I think in the second round, Hill's landing the shorter, choppier shots inside the close range, whereas Perez is doing that right there. He's winning punches, and they're not always landing. So maybe they look good, but I think the actual cleaning landing shots are done by him.
And you can definitely be right, and that's what the whole thing is. When you see a guy winging a shot and you see it land, sometimes you don't see exactly where it lands. And it can be off of the shoulder, it can be off the arm, where it shouldn't be scored, but the judge doesn't see that angle. He just sees it connect, he sees the fighter move from it, and gives credit to him.
John, saying I was right, how did that taste coming out of your mouth? Vinegar?
I love when you're right.
Oh, caught him with the right as he moved in. Josh Hill just, as I said before, fundamentally.
Very sound.
Yeah, very sound. Brilliant at the basics. Fun to watch.
I thought John said that.
No, I said it first. I said be brilliant at the basics, right, John?
You said the basics things.
The basic things?
You said things about basics. I'll give you credit.
I said things about basics. Man, I'm feeling good right now.
Hill needs to keep going to Perez's calf there on the inside and the outside, because you can see Perez sometimes labor every time he does get there.
Nice.
Beautiful entry. Nice transition, drop levels, right into him. That's what you need to do. Now he's going to that seatbelt position just to control it. Now start to work from that.
A little bit of wrestling happens at Team Alpha Male.
You don't say.
You don't say.
It does become difficult when you have somebody's back and your head is up against the cage, though. It is not, you don't have a freedom of movement to be able to get the chokes and go after the arm bars in the same fashion. So this is a good position for Josh, but not exactly where he wants to be.
He doesn't get to pick a side on which way he wants to roll him to, because you're stuck. If you roll to one side, the fence is right there, and that's maybe not the side you want to be on.
See Perez getting rid of the foot. Nice job of Josh Hill. Transition right back into having control of the back.
All 4 of his submission victories have come by rear naked choke.
But what Perez needs to do from this position is, I like to call it 2-on-1. He grabs the wrist control with 2 hands, pushes it away or punches it away from his body, takes it over his head and starts sliding his back flat to the mat. It's almost like scraping him off of your back with like a spatula. You see them do something similar against the fence as well.
Yeah, we call that cheese grating.
Got it, Josh, it's over. Sink, drop the shoulder, sink the head.
Trying to lock it in.
Sink the head. He's gonna tap. You got it. He's tapping. He's gonna tap, Josh. He already feint tap. He's gonna go.
That chin tucked in there.
Yeah, well, this is not going to work as far as a choke itself. He could complain about the pain on his jaw, but this is not a choke right now that Eric Perez is going to tap to.
Okay, that goes to the day we met, John, and you. Story for another time. It's been told 100 times.
It was just a little painful.
Yeah, a little bit. I tapped. Much to Josh's point earlier.
Well, Joe Rogan always says, as long as the chin's tucked, you're good.
And I say, Big John McCarthy put his arm around my chin and I tap quick. Good control here by Josh Hill.
Outstanding. Beautiful job of squeezing in, maintaining that top position, making Eric Perez turn underneath him.
What he did there was nice. He started opening up the striking and then went back to the choke.
Going for the arm.
I would generally rule against that with only 13 seconds left.
Yep.
You've shown that you kind of dominated the round. You get the good positioning from there. Now with the armbar attempt. Good way to finish the round.
This one goes the distance. Who has earned their 20th career win? Josh Hill or Eric Perez?
I'm actually seeing Josh Hill breathe. Hey, normally that guy, you're looking at him, he doesn't breathe. As far as his diaphragm doesn't move, you're going, how do you go that hard, that long, and not have to breathe hard?
Hey,
My man.
Josh Hill says he has a leather belt in badassery. Great word. I guess that means he's tough. I have no idea. Let's take a look at some of his work here, especially the knee.
This was that knee that he throws up. Look at the duck of the head. Just grazes. But it was the counters with that right hand coming over. And then he would sometimes do the 2s and 3s. But the takedown was the big difference. Look at that beautiful transition. Drops the level, drives forward, and controls his opponent. Ends up getting the back. That was a beautiful performance by both fighters, but Josh Hill technically just was the better fighter throughout the fight.
Well, he got Perez thinking that he was going to stand with him, so he didn't keep going to the takedown over and over and over again. He got Perez thinking he was going to stand, got into a couple exchanges, and was able to lower his level, getting on the easy takedowns. Those are the best takedowns, by the way.
I'm glad you said it was easy.
Yeah.
He made it look easy.
It was easy. The timing on it was impeccable. I mean, anytime you don't have to work hard for it was nice.
And that's what makes it
easy.
Michael C. Williams will easily give us our official decision.
Nice.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, go to the official judges' scorecards. Your first judge, John English, has it 29-28, while judges Jaron Villel and Mike Murtha both see it the same 30-27. I'll have it for the win by unanimous decision. Gentlemen, Josh Hill.
Win number 20, Josh Hill is 2-0. Inside the Bellator cage, victorious over Eric Perez by unanimous decision. Congratulations to the gentleman, Josh Hill. 1 hour away, we are live on Paramount Network. The title's on the line in our main event, Ryan Bader against Vladimir Nemkov. This will be the first time Nemkov has fought in a battle scheduled for 5-minute rounds. The former champion and the rising star Jesse Mealy, Nelson Moldovsky, Salter, and Capel, all live and free on Paramount Network.
If you're a fight fan, you've got to love this. Get ready for back-to-back nights of Bellator MMA action.
Unbelievable.
First, on Friday, September 11th, Phil Davis and Lyoto Machida face off in an epic light heavyweight showdown.
It is over!
Then on Saturday, September 12th, Bellator's bantamweight world title is on the line when Juan the Spaniard Archuleta battles undefeated phenom Patchy Mix. Bellator MMA, live and free, September 11th and 12th on Paramount Network.
Hey, Bellator Nation, follow us across a large array of digital platforms and stay up to date on everything you need to know. Like us on the Bellator Facebook page and see exclusive videos. Follow us and get instant updates on Twitter at Bellator MMA and get a chance to have your tweet live on Paramount Network. See amazing pictures on Instagram at Bellator MMA. Follow us on Snapchat at Bellator Nation for exclusive behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and fighter takeovers. Join Bellator Nation today.
Ryan Bader ran through the heavyweight Grand Prix and made history by knocking out Fedor Emelianenko. Next, live and free on Paramount Network. Champ Ryan Bader will put his light heavyweight title on the line.
I'm the best I've ever been.
It's all over!
But coming for his gold, Fedor's protege.
This guy's a beast.
Vadim Nemkov.
Good night.
Bellator MMA, live next on Paramount Network.
We continue here inside the Mohegan Sun Arena with our preliminary matchups. This one at 155, two veterans, a combined 26 wins. Adam Piccolotti and Sidney Outlaw, who of course fought on short notice in Japan against Michael Chandler. Piccolotti coming off a rear naked choke win in San Jose.
Look, Piccolotti is an outstanding grappler, and his stand-up has gotten so much better. He had a fight against Benson Henderson. This is against Jake Smith, gets that rear naked choke. But that fight he had against Benson Henderson, that first round, he had Benson Henderson in all kinds of problems during it. Just lost a split decision victory.
Adam said, and I quote, "I beat Benson." Our tale of the tape for this lightweight fight. 31-year-old Piccolotti against 28-year-old Outlaw, who will have a significant reach advantage.
That's a big reach advantage, 4.5 inches there. We'll see what that does for Sidney Outlaw.
Once again, with the official introductions, here is the voice, Michael C. Williams.
Here tonight at Bellator 244, we go to the lightweight division scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. From Mohegan Sun Arena, we introduce the blue corner. At 5'9", weighing in 156 pounds even, his professional record, 14 wins, 4 losses, fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, by way of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sidney Outlaw. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'11", weighing in 155.3 pounds. As a professional, he stands with 12 victories, 3 defeats. By way of Half Moon Bay, he fights out of San Jose, California, Adam the Bomb Piccolotti. And the referee in charge, Dan Murgliata.
Dan Murgliata, our referee. Adam Piccolotti and Sidney Outlaw. Outlaw had his 9-fight win streak snapped by Chandler in Japan. Let's go fight. Piccolotti and Outlaw. And our fight clock brought to you by Geico. Adam Piccolotti, 8 wins in the Bellator cage in the red gloves. Sidney Outlaw in the blue gloves. Both men, black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Piccolotti since 2012. Outlaw earned his belt under Renzo Gracie.
Piccolotti's got his black belt from Rob Castillo, outstanding BJJ practitioner. So both guys come from a very distinguished pedigree.
And Adam is a boxing instructor at Rob Castillo's martial arts school. So we know he's got hands, he's got the submission skills, and these two are very evenly matched.
I was about to say, I'm going to give the wrestling pedigree to Outlaw in this transition. I'm going to give the scrambling pedigree to Adam Piccolotti. In these transitions, you're going to see Adam probably win the scrambles, but he's got to make sure he never lets his back get flat to the mat.
God, that was so good, man. You see the elevator sweep from Piccolotti, but you watch what Outlaw did to transition past it. Just beautiful work on the ground by both guys.
The scramble's not over yet, I can tell you that.
Hand fight. Get ready to hand fight. Watch out for the neck. Hand fight. Control your hands, Adam. Hand fight. Hand fight.
The Outlaw family full of boxers. Father Sidney Outlaw Sr., a southpaw, was in the boxing game for a long time.
Yes,
right now they work black belt against black belt on the ground.
What you're seeing is Adam trying to clear his hips so he can start trying to defend the neck and actually scrape them off like we had talked about earlier.
And Adam needs to be careful when he slips over with that neck exposed.
We call this the ninja choke. It's that little side choke without the legs in. John Fitch is real famous for getting this position here.
Relax, Sid. Nice and relax. Crucifix. Slip that head out. Pump out. Yes. There we go. Now you on top. Now you on top. Take over.
Nice little scramble and transition there for Adam. He's got to poke that head out. Once he pokes that head out, he'll start to try to take the back.
Yes. Make him pin the toe. Make him pin the toe now. Make him pin the toe.
You hear his coach, Raul Castillo, telling him, make him pay the toll.
That was a big, heavy shot with the hammer fist there. It only takes one shot like that. You see how Sidney starts to become slow. When you take a big shot like that, it starts to just alter your ability to think fast and continue with that fast pace.
Trying to lock it in right here. Outlaw able to fight it off.
Josh, you talked about this fight being like two ferrets just going after each other. That's what we have. I mean, you watch ferrets play and they just go after each other and there's all this movement and everything.
Well, Adam Piccolotti trains at AK, even though he trains under Raul Castillo. He comes down to train with the guys at AKA. When he does that, I've had countless scrambles with him, and this guy just never stops moving. When you think you've got the dominant position, he ends up hook sweeping you or getting back to the top position.
And he talked about the man you just mentioned, the former captain of the Purdue wrestling team, John Fitch. Piccolotti said he's a mad scientist. Guy is so intellectual. I picked his brain a lot about strategy, fitness, health, and everything else. And a little kinetic chess going on in this battle between Outlaw and Piccolotti here in round number 1.
There's a lot of kinetic chess. You just see the strength of Outlaw as he just moves Piccolotti's head over where he wants it against the cage. Piccolotti trying to use that cage now to get himself back towards his feet.
Just holding. No damn, huh?
This is exactly what I was talking about with you earlier this week. I said Adam needs to make sure that he never is in this position where they are just stopped in one position. He needs to keep the scrambling going until he's on top. He allowed himself to be put into guard work in this position, and now he's stuck here. He can't get out of it.
He's trying to land the elbows from underneath, but you saw him take a big left hand that hit him cleanly. And it's always going to be the shot that comes from the guy that's on top. With gravity coming down, judges are going to usually give that more credence than the ones coming from the bottom.
A lot of body head from Sidney Outlaw from top position here late. There it is, missed with the second shot.
There you go.
Very close round 1.
Great round.
Right? No more strikes. Nice and clean, gentlemen.
Take a look at some of the scrums. Here's that elevator sweep I was talking about, but you see Outlaw come out on top. This is just two guys that understand that positioning, that base feel, the flow of a grappling position. Then Adam Piccolotti gets the back, starts to try to look for the choke, and it was close at a certain point. He was starting to get tight, and he lost that position off on the side.
What he did was he held on to one position for too long. You go chasing the submission too long, you leave yourself vulnerable to be reversed, and that's exactly what happened.
Hey. Double change, he's gonna overhand.
Mike Brown in the corner of Sidney Outlaw, Bader, Nemkov. Main event later tonight, live on Paramount Network. Ryan Bader, the light heavyweight and Bellator heavyweight world champion.
Round 2, gentlemen. Ready? You ready? Let's go. Fight.
Josh, how'd you score round 1?
I had Sidney Outlaw winning the first round.
Yeah,
Boy, you better have.
Oh, jeez.
Put him here. Put him here.
Hands up, distance.
Put him to us.
It's like Saturday Night Live.
What do you know about scoring?
I don't know.
And there you go. Put it back. Beautiful. Beautiful. Stay on the top. Stay in the top. Scramble.
What a scramble. Just fantastic.
Hand fight.
And getting the back. You see, but Piccolotti, you see that arm inside, controlling. You see with Sidney with that right leg trying to hook. Just outstanding job. This is what John's talking about in just not giving into the position, continuing the scramble.
What he hit was a nice little college switch. As soon as he sat up his hips up on top of Sidney Outlaw, he was able to hit that college switch. Start pushing the legs to the side. Now he's in side control. Working to that now.
You're in perfect position. Handcuff.
Now this is where he needs to make sure he controls the position and not give up anything stupid where he did in the first round where he held on to the submission so long that he lost it, ended up on bottom.
Got the body lock on the good side.
He's going to do everything he can.
Doesn't really even have the body lock. Now he goes to that figure 4.
Make him feel it. Yes. You know the shot. Yeah. Beautiful.
Just using it for a bit of control, isn't he, John?
Yeah, right now with where he's at, you see Outlaw's trying to turn, and it does.
Now, the fact that there was force and pressure on the foot with the body lock, that's what helped open it up, wasn't it?
Yeah, and when you're taking a look at a guy who starts to figure 4, if I can put that foot to the ground, I can start to turn within it. If it's up in the air, he can squeeze, and you just don't get that same ability to make that turn.
Beautiful. Yes.
This is where Adam needs to give up this guard position and put himself in jeopardy to get out of this position.
Exactly. Right now, he's playing the jiu-jitsu game of, oh, I'll hold you in guard, and I'm not going to let you land the big shot on me. Adam needs to figure out, right now, I've won in scrambles, but I'm losing the fight. And I need to do something different. I cannot be on my back and win this fight the way it's happening.
Breathe. Just smother. Let's go. Breathe. Smart.
Near the corner of Sidney Outlaw. He's able to gain enough space to land the body and the head strikes with this ground and pound like we saw in round 1.
I've always said that if you have your guard locked in the fight and you're up against the fence or in the fight at all, then it means you're pretty much losing. You should be doing whatever you can to open your guard and hit some sort of transition, whether it's a sweep or not. I always say sweep, submit, get up, or submit, sweep, get up. Those are the transitions you need to be trying to hit so you don't end up stuck on bottom like Adam is right now.
Yeah, it's real simple. If you're up against the cage and you've got a closed guard, you are surviving in the fight. You are not an active participant in winning the fight.
Yeah, you need to use your submission attempts or your sweep attempts to attack the submission, or your submission attempts to attack the sweep, so you're mounting some sort of offense.
Wrist control. See. Breathe. Good sit.
See, he should have went right from there. He tried to do the sit-up sweep.
Tried to do that hip heist.
Couldn't get it, but he should have went out to hip escaping out from there to getting back to a sprawl position.
Sidney Outlaw made his Bellator debut in November of last year, defeating Roger Huerta. 44 days later, he took a short-notice fight against Michael Chandler in Japan, replacing the injured Benson Henderson, and had his 9-fight win streak snapped in that one.
Yeah, but you get those opportunities.
Oh yeah.
Not only to fight Michael Chandler, but to fight Japan. Those opportunities just don't come around, and I love the fact that he jumped right in and went after it.
Never a moment of hesitation. Much like the perseverance and the pressure he's applied here in round 2.
There you go, Sid.
Adam Piccolotti is going to have to figure out how to stop what is occurring with Sidney being able to control him in the middle of the cage or even against the cage wall. Adam has not figured out a way to get away from Sidney Outlaw.
But what he had to do is he had to give up his back from that guard position to get back to his feet. And we just wasted 2 minutes of the round.
When he could have done it earlier.
He could have done it earlier.
Slick little move to try to put Piccolotti in more danger here late in the round.
Nice little kick out of the back of the knee by Sidney Outlaw. Drops his balance point.
Turn now. Turn, stay on top. Let's go.
Right. See a little frustration by Adam Piccolotti there at the end.
John, not a lot of people do what we just saw Sidney Outlaw do to Adam Piccolotti.
Look, Adam Piccolotti is an outstanding ground technician. This kid knows. He's a good wrestler. Not the greatest wrestler out there, but he's a good wrestler. He's solid, and he's a very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. So he knows what he's doing. Sidney is just shutting down what he does well. Here's that scramble. Take a look here. This is Adam getting position, but that was Sidney actually rolling through to try to get Adam out of that position, and he ends up, in the end, figuring out a way to finally get the back because Adam comes out of this position on top.
Beautiful, stay on top now. Control and stabilize.
Look at him stay on top now. Gets that position. You see what Sidney Outlaw is doing, controlling the one arm, and then he gets his escape from that point once he gets Piccolotti. Piccolotti mounts, and Sidney gets out, and then from that point, controlled the position for the rest of the round.
Final round. Sidney, you ready? Adam, you ready? Let's go, gentlemen. Final round.
Final round, 5 minutes remain. Adam Piccolotti. Red gloves, blue gloves for Sidney Outlaw. Family of boxers and the boxing instructor with the black belt.
That was a very, very nice technique by Sidney. Faked that knee tap, brought the hand up. Clean shot.
It's been a ground battle thus far. Let's see if they stay on the feet for a bit here.
Start with the jab. Yeah, keep putting the pressure. Hands high, hands high. You're gonna put him on his back. Hands high, yeah. There you go.
Look forward again, John.
Beautiful.
Trying to change levels.
Hands up. Breathe, let's go. Initiate.
After those 2 rounds that you were looking at, with all the grappling and all all those positional changes. Both guys, their arms are heavy right now, man. There's a lot of lactic acid involved. They're both trying to look for a way to get a position where they can calm down and get a break.
This is top-notch grappling at its finest. Not just the grappling portion of it, but the wrestling portion of it as well. And then they're threading the submission. You see Sidney taking shots here from Adam. But both of them are after the first 2 rounds of those many exchanges. I mean, both their arms and shoulders are exhausted.
Sidney trying to control that leg because he knows if he has that leg, Adam's not going to be able to come up on top of him. But he needs to be careful of taking all these hammer fists.
That elbow in the leg, yes. Elbow. Yeah. Tuck that. Hit those elbows.
Adam also needs to do is try to open that heel so he can hook his right leg on the inside of the heel where his hand is. If he can do that, that'll start pulling him into his back.
The one thing you're seeing is Adam with that hand behind, right in between the legs. That's keeping Sidney from being able to take and turn that position and bring Adam over.
I like how he's holding the ankle more, because that's going to open him and turn his back into his lap.
Good elbows to the body, then to the head. Piccolotti scoring here in the 3rd and final round of a very close fight.
He's hurt.
Here in the corner, Piccolotti saying that Outlaw's hurt from some of those strikes.
There comes a point when you've got that position like Outlaw has as far as holding that leg. It's not working for you, so I can't sit here and take all these shots. Let me switch to something else. Now he's got the leg with his legs controlling. All he needs to do is try to get his head out, bring his head high, he'll have position, but Adam is not letting. You see Adam putting all that weight down on top of his head. That's to keep him where he's at.
Head up. No, 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 no.
He's got to be careful of hitting. If Adam's able to get his leg free a little more, you can start seeing him set up that twister as well, reaching back to the head like that.
Well, you heard the corner, Josh say, no, 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 no.
Those are hard things to see.
Turn, there you go.
Those are hard things to see when you're exhausted.
Get up. Take it back, Sid. Take it back.
90 seconds in this back and forth battle.
You heard Adam Piccolotti's corner saying, you got to get up, Adam. He can't with that leg being in the between Sidney. You see Sidney clamping down on that leg. You're not going to get up if you can't take that leg and swing it out and post it. He needs that arm as a post or the other leg.
Wait on him, breathe. Wait on him, yes.
Got to be careful his hand doesn't get stuck inside the legs there, because if Sidney's able to get to his back, one arm will be trapped.
Good, right higher.
He's going to try to hit that switch.
Up higher.
Nice job of Sidney. See him scoop that right leg up. That keeps Adam Piccolotti in the position that he's at.
Not only when he did that, he scooped the leg, he pushed his hips back as well to sprawl him down onto his head.
Get the head out. Let's go now. Yup. Good, yes. Take it back.
We have seen a little bit of every part of the ground game in this one.
This is when I talked about this fight earlier. Everyone kept talking to me about it. I said this is the only issue. Sidney Outlaw will control the position if he's able to get on top. And Adam's got to make sure he continues to scramble, and he hasn't been able to do that.
Piccolotti won this round. And don't forget all those shots that he landed when he was in that position. You saw Outlaw holding onto the ankle. He landed a ton of shots. Piccolotti wins the round. He just doesn't win the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge, Doug Crosby, 29-28. He sees the fight for Outlaw. Your second judge, John English, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Piccolotti. Your third and final judge, Brian Miner, 29-28. He sees it for the winner by split decision, Sydney Outlaw.
Split decision victory for Sydney Outlaw. Shows how nervous he was as the judges' scorecards were being shared to the world by Michael C. Williams.
Never do that again. 5 miles after this. What the heck is that?
Congratulations, Sydney Outlaw. Jay, he is a fun guy to watch.
Certainly is, Goldie. All these prelims have been fun to watch. Again, you want to get highlighted on the main card. This is how you come out and fight for Scott Coker and Bellator. And hey, you want to get highlighted on the main card? Well, you wrap a title belt around your waist. Or if you're Ryan Bader, you wrap 2 around your waist. But tonight, it's for the light heavyweight championship of the world. This is how he won it against Phil Davis. But since he's beaten Phil Davis, Ryan Bader's game has gotten better and better and better to where, Chael, he is the best light heavyweight in the world. If you are Nemkov, what are you most afraid of tonight? Is that lead hook he's now using? Is it that straight right? Is it the takedowns? What are you most concerned about?
I would imagine Nemkov does not want to end up underneath Bader. If Bader comes out like a bull that he is, if he starts using those power in those hands just to get respect, changes elevation and drags it to the mat, that could be a real bad night for anybody, in this case, Nemkov.
Yeah, so if you're Ryan Bader, what is your main game plan going to be?
Okay, he needs to go close that space, Jay. There is no point in standing in front of him and playing this game with the kicks. I don't think he needs to wait for the kick to come at him and try to catch it. Just close the space and go from there.
I remember the past 2, Ryan Bader was getting ready for a kickboxer, and he started working with a kickboxing coach, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is like, you know, tailor-made for you. Just wait and kind of catch a kick there. I think over that time also, his sport IQ, his fight IQ is just increased an awful lot.
Yeah, I'm really seeing that too. I am seeing an improvement and evolution. And Jay, usually when you get to the top, you got a world championship. It's everybody else's job to come get you. Bader is pulling away.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Nemkov, he comes in here, and he may be a relative unknown to people, but certainly not to those in the fight world. He is currently on a 6-fight win streak, but he's taken out 3 world champs, like right here against McGeary.
Yeah, very, very relevant that he's taken out 3 world champions. I mean, there's kind of a rule around here, Jay. If you beat a world champion, you get to fight for a world championship. He had to beat 3. Oh, by the way, he beat one of them just by kicking him in the leg.
Right.
We keep talking about these leg kicks, but Jay, he kicks like a mule. It's not like other guys. It is a real weapon, and it needs to be respected.
Look, and he took on Phil Davis, beat Phil Davis, also completely different. But, man, we see here Nemkov here, he can really get you from so many different angles. If he's going to win this fight, and let's say it's not the leg kicks, what other advantage does he have over Ryan Bader?
Well, I think that he's very strong. I'm not willing to concede that he's stronger than Ryan Bader. I also like what he does with position, but not necessarily on bottom. Look, he's not a fish out of water. It's just Bader's a lot to deal with and on top. And I think at this point in Nemkov's career, if he can avoid that, because Jay, I don't really like the way he scrambles. I got to tell you, does a good job stopping the takedowns. Doesn't do a great job if he gets planted there.
And we're only about 2 hours away, Paramount Networks, from the light heavyweight championship of the world. Feels great, doesn't it, Goldie?
No question about it, Jay. Ryan Bader has been outstanding inside the Bellator cage. He will face a huge challenge later tonight in the main event. Right now, our final preliminary matchup, 23-0. Yaroslav Amosov against Mark Lemminger, who just 28 days ago looked pretty darn good against Jake Smith, John.
Oh, he looked really good. In fact, he started to dominate Jake Smith with his wrestling and his ground and pound, getting to the point where he just hammered Jake to the point where the referee had to stop the fight. He has got great positioning, Josh. If he can use that against Amosov and slow him down, he's got a chance.
Our tail of the tape for this fight contracted at 175 pounds. Look at that, 23-0 against 11-1, 5-inch reach advantage for the unbeaten Ukrainian. Once again, here is Michael C. Williams.
Here tonight at Mohegan Sun Arena, we conclude the Bellator 244 prelims with 3 5-minute rounds at a contracted weight of 175 pounds. Introducing first, the blue corner, at 6'1", weighing in 174.6 pounds. With the quick turnaround back in the Bellator cage, he brings 11 professional victories, just 1 loss from Madison, Wisconsin, Mark Lemminger. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 174.4 pounds, the undefeated professional enters tonight with an outstanding record of 23-0 from Irpin, Ukraine, presenting Yaroslav Dynamo Amosov. And the referee in charge, Kerry Hatley.
Kerry Hatley, our referee. Mark Lemminger, a combined 16-1, including his 5-0 amateur record against 23-0 Yaroslav Amosov. Here we go! Tonight's fight clock brought to you by Geico. Amosov in the red gloves. 28 days later, coming off his win over Jake Smith, Mark Lemminger in the blue gloves. He said, and I quote, "I proved not only to everybody else, but to himself that he can perform on the big stage," because Josh, Mark Lemminger got stunned in the first round in that fight against Jake Smith.
Oh yeah, he was able to work through it. I was very impressed with the fact that he almost got sacked to his butt. He got bullied over right onto his butt against the fence, worked his way back up, and then dominated the fight from then on. But here's the one thing I want to talk about, John, is the hangover for Amosov. Okay, because the hangover of a huge win over Ed Ruth, thinking like, okay, I'm 23-0, I should be like pretty much next in line.
Came off being the main event.
Now, what's going on? He's got to be thinking, okay, like, what, you know, I have a huge win right now over Ed Ruth, and now I'm fighting someone who just fought a couple weeks ago who's in top shape, but relatively unknown.
Relatively unknown, and you're looking at a guy. Amosov is the future of MMA. He's what we're seeing, because when I say that, Amosov didn't come from one distinct type of background. Nothing as far as he was a wrestler or he was a kickboxer. Amosov will tell you, I started out as an MMA fighter. I learned everything, and you can see how he'll transition from one element to the next. Lemminger started as a wrestler, but it's what Amosov does in being able to transition from one element to the next. Nice shots he's landing too, big heavy shots. This is not where Lemminger wants to be on his back.
John, you were talking about that a second ago. What he did is he touched him first with the head kick. Came back, he doesn't look like he's throwing anything with power. And the things that come straight from your chin, right down the pipe, are the ones that do the most damage and they get there the fastest.
And he's bloodied up early.
He's been hit with some big shots, but this is where we're talking about Amosov, the complete fighter. His ground game is good. He's solid on the ground, man. He gets good positions. He's hard to move. He hits hard when he's in a ground and pound situation. His stand-up is outstanding. His wrestling is unbelievable as far as his takedowns to put people on the ground. He took down Ed Ruth multiple times. Ed Ruth being a 3-time NC2A champion, you would have thought that Amosov was the guy that was the wrestling champion.
Yeah, there was a couple exchanges against Ed Ruth where he actually out-scrambled and out-positioned him. Don't get me wrong, Ed Ruth had his moments as well.
Sure.
But I gotta just tell you, the way Amosov just controls the cage, controls how he punches and how he throws stuff almost effortlessly.
So relaxed.
But you can see by Lemminger's face that there's an effect to it, a lot of damaging effect to it.
Take a look at that eye. That eye is not looking good. The left eye, Mark Lemminger is definitely cut up.
And he's pouring it on. Amosov teammates with Parubchenko, who we saw earlier. Trains with both of the Parubchenko brothers, the combat Sambo world champions, Vladislav and Dimitri. Heavy ground and pound. Here early in round 1.
Everything about Amosov is just technically sound, and that's a big reason why he's 23-0.
No doubt about it. You take a look at Lemminger, a guy who's 11-0, and he's good. We saw that he was good because he did. He got hit by a big shot by Jake Smith, worked his way through it, and then just dominated the fight. He's a good fighter, and this is the problem. He took this fight because they couldn't find anybody else to come in here and fight Amosov. No one wants to step in and fight this guy right now.
this isn't going to make anybody change our mind anytime soon, is it?
That's the statement of the night there, Mike.
Thank you very much. It's early, but I'll take it. 1 minute.
Hey, Mark, get that frame looking in.
I think what you run into, though, with Amosov is that there's nothing really spectacular about him unless you're watching the technique of what he's doing. So
He's not flashy.
No, he's not flashy
at all.
But everything he does is effective and does damage. Like it doesn't look like he's hitting him hard right now.
But he is.
You can tell by the blood and the mess that's going on. They're accurate. They're on point. They're right where they need to be to open you up and do damage.
And Lemminger's a good wrestler. He knows how to get up. There's just a pressure there that is telling him, I can't.
Ed Ruth was a good wrestler, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
Not bad. A legendary in Happy Valley. Big round one for 23-0 Yaroslav Amosov. And it's not over yet.
John, how do you look at this round? 10-8?
You could definitely look at this round 10-8. Did you have domination of position, domination of the action? Yes. And did you have damage? Absolutely. There was a point where Lemminger was really hurt. Not just the cut. He was hurt by the shots. So this is definitely a 10-8 round, in my opinion, for Amosov.
Nasty cut under the left eyebrow.
Left eyebrow, yeah.
Yeah.
John, talk to us about the cuts.
When you're looking at the cuts, you know, these little shots here, that's a beautiful, clean shot. But again, Amosov is not throwing with everything he has, like you're saying. He's just being accurate. It's timing and accuracy that makes the shot hard. And the cut that you're looking at, what the doctors are going to look at, any cut that is going along with the lines of the face, that's usually a good cut. It's a cut that they'll allow to go. It's when it starts to cross multiple structures, up and down cuts, and placement being inside of the eyelid or anything. That's what gives doctors a lot of concern.
You had a lot of lines on your face.
Dude, I look like a Shar-Pei puppy, man.
You don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all.
Glad you're silent over there, Goldberg.
I'm with you. Like I said to Josh, win or tie, I got your back, brother.
And a baby.
Yeah, they're taking a good look at that one.
And I cut all the time.
Yeah, it is all over.
Good.
It is all over. It was, John, it's the placement like you talked about as well, because it's under the eyebrow. That's the concern.
No, I thought because it was kind of coming down into his eyes.
It is.
So
It's coming
eye.
down into the eyelid itself. And anytime you have a cut in the eyelid itself, the eyelid skin, it's a problem. Ray Daniels is a phenomenal kickboxer here at Bellator. We're going to see him, I think, next week.
Yeah.
I had him in a fight with Nicky Holskin where he actually had a cut that went into his eyelid where as he closed his eyelid, you could see his eye through it. You got to be careful with anything in the eyelid.
So what I wanted to point out in this exchange is notice that all the punches are coming from different angles. So what he's doing is he's touching him from uppercuts, left hooks, then he does a loopy left hook. He's changing the angle of all of them. The other thing as well was the very last punch there that actually cut him. It was more of the grazing of the glove. That sometimes is what does the most damage, John, as you know.
Yeah, many times it stretches the skin past it. It doesn't hit real hard, but it actually catches the skin and kind of stretches it to the point where the skin tears.
Mark Lemminger said, I get cut all the time. But when you look at that one, you can see why the doctor's judgment was to stop this fight. And it is now 24-0, 5-0, and 13 first-round finishes for Dynamo Yaroslav Amosov. Michael C. Williams to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, upon the advice of the cage-side physician, referee Kerry Hatley, due to the cut, waves off the contest officially. 5 minutes, round number one. The winner by TKO, he's still undefeated Yaroslav Dynamo Amosov.
Amosov with the win in our last preliminary matchup. Top of the hour, we get things started live on Paramount Network. Gonna be a good night of fights. The light heavyweight title, Jay, is on the line.
Absolutely, Goldie, and it already feels like it inside the Mohegan Sun Arena, folks. We're about 20 minutes away from our main card starting over on Paramount Network. CLP, pretty pumped.
Oh, I'm fired up. Listen, I'm like you. I like a world championship, Jay. I like the big boys. And you know what? Roy Nelson has something very special that he brings. I mean, Roy will change the energy of a room. In all fairness, I'm happy to see him. And we got the former champ back. I mean, come on, Julia Budd.
Absolutely. Julia Budd's on it. We have John Salter, Andrew Capel. Love that matchup. Hey, don't blink in that one. Roy Nelson, as you said, against Moldavsky. But Ryan Bader, will he come out of this still the best light heavyweight on the planet? Or will Vadim Nemkov get revenge for his mentor in Fedor Emelianenko?
Ryan Bader ran through the heavyweight Grand Prix and made history by knocking out Fedor Emelianenko. Next, live and free on Paramount Network. Champ Ryan Bader will put his light heavyweight title on the line.
I'm the best I've ever been.
It's all over!
But coming for his gold, Fedor's protege.
This guy's a beast.
Vadim Nemkov.
Good night.
Bellator MMA, live next on Paramount.